Good evening, brothers, sisters, and gender norm resistors. It's time to get back to the SS Belland and the Pirates of the Geek Vortex with me, your host, Ollamh, and I'm not sure who else we're going to have tonight. It all depends. But hello. All right, let's get that opened up. It looks like we've already got a rascal in here.
We do.
And hello, sir. How are you?
Just got out of a maps night over in FF14, and you?
I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah, I wound up running a group because we just had too many people, and we had to split up, and God's help me, I'm the person with the experience.
Isn't that always the case? The person with the experience has to do the... Yeah,
I need an understudy soon in that.
I have been loving the weather the past few days.
Yeah, it said it was in the 50s, but it definitely felt warmer.
I think it actually managed to creep up into the 60s locally, but like, you know. Of course, when you look at what they say, you know, what they say as far as the temperature and stuff, that's, you know, that's in the, it has to, they have to measure it in the shade, 6 feet, like 5 or 6 feet over grass.
Right.
And stuff like that. So that, you know, if you're out in the sun, that's going to make that's going to make a pretty big difference.
We had a year, was it 10 years ago, where the temperature was in the 70s, but we were all sweating horribly uncomfortably. I had to tell someone, no, it's not in the 90s, it's in the 70s. It's just that Illinois, our reclaimed swampland, has taken on that much humidity.
Yep. That's the horrible part. It's like, yeah, the humidity will just, yeah, the humidity is the horrible killer.
Yep. It's not just us old people complaining about, hey, it's not the heat, it's the humidity. No, it's really how it works here in the Midwest.
Yeah. I mean, I know people who have moved out to like, you know, out to like Arizona and stuff that are like, oh man, it's so much different here. I'm like, yeah, I bet it's a dry heat. That's generally preferable.
I mean, you know me, I moved out to Florida for a bit.
Yeah, from one swampland to another.
Yeah. I would not want to live in this part of Florida I did again, but I don't mind living on the coast. Like, directly on is actually pretty good.
I was gonna say, it's like at least here you don't have to work. You know, you can't go out at night in some areas, stand on your back porch, shine a flashlight out, and see 3 different colored eyes of things that want to kill you.
Well, down there you just call it locals.
Yeah, my brother went down there for a week one time, and the guy that he was staying with was like, yeah, so yeah, those are the gators. Those are the and my brother's just like, oh. It's like, yeah, don't wander too far out back. It's not good for you. Of course, now my brother lives down there, though he's kind of more on the coast.
Yeah, I liked Vero. I lived in Tampa, of course. Now, Orlando still gets a decent amount of rain on account of things like Lake Buena Vista out there. The same way Chicago gets it because, you know, Lake Michigan and all.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Orlando's unofficial motto is, Orlando, people actually live here. And it had, when I went down there during my time in Tampa, Orlando had a pretty good nightlife, actually.
Okay.
And if you want to know what the traffic is like driving around there from spot to spot, it feels kind of like Indy 465, the loops.
Oh, joy.
In a good way. I actually didn't have too much trouble navigating it around it.
I was
Truth be
gonna,
told, I can navigate Indy pretty well because as a Gen Con repeat offender.
yeah. I mean, there's a certain point where it's like, yeah, once you've been in India enough times, like for different convention stuff, it's like, okay, I at least know, you know, I may not be the best at the city, but it's like, you know, I at least can get my way around. It's like I know downtown fairly well. I mean, you know, you get out away from downtown, away from like the convention center and stuff. Yeah, that's where for me it's like, okay, I'm not entirely sure where I'm supposed to be going, but okay.
Broad Ripple is a favorite area. It's got a Yachts. Yachts is a local franchise over there that is basically Creole food.
Ooh, that sounds delicious.
Oh yeah, and there are. And I would have hit it this year, but I had on my way out of town, but I had a last-minute COVID scare, and it's like, I'm not going to a restaurant, possibly knowingly having this thing, so.
Yeah.
And it turned out I was negative, and it's like, damn it, I could have gone to Yachts.
Yeah.
And attended the last day of the convention.
Yeah, but there's, you know, I mean, that's one of the reasons why it's like, you know, like if I go out to a store or something, I'm usually still wear my mask and everything, but it's like, you know, when I'm around friends and stuff, it's like at least my friends are like, you know, they're smart enough that they're not going, you know, they're not going to show up if they, you know, if there's a possibility of having something. The people in the stores, though, man, they are just some inconsiderate, disgusting bastards.
That said, there's also a lot of rare book and rare CD things around Indy. One year I hopped into one. I'm looking through, I see some X-Men comics, this, that. I'm thinking, okay, that's good, whatever. And then I find this bizarre, absolutely must-have CD for $1 that is nothing but techno straight from India.
Interesting. And hello there, Sin.
I was trying to be sneaky.
Yeah, but see, it chimes when somebody comes in. At least it does for me, so.
So,
And
please continue about the techno from India.
Oh, well, I grabbed it. It was what's known as Kalishan Vana Volume 2. It was an import. So I don't know where the rest of the fuckering volumes are. But I played it on the station. I wish I could get people to actually tell me whether they like it or not.
That's always
Does
difficult.
it sound anything like tech support music?
Not a thing. And believe me, being the freak I am, I have some tech support music on tap that I actually consider not bad. Or hold music, I should say.
But you understand what I mean by tech support music.
I do.
I would hope.
And how are you today, Sin?
I'm working on being drunk, for one. Payday Friday.
Oh, well, hell yeah.
I was playing WoW and I thought, nothing's going on, so.
Yeah, we're in that stretch, like the faded raids are it. Oh wait, are you on retail or classic?
Oh, I'm on neither. I'm on a private server.
Oh,
It's
Ascension?
Ascension. Yes,
Yep,
actually.
I have
love
heard of
Ascension.
Ascension.
Love Ascension.
I was about to tune into one of my Wildcasts I watch, and there was a 20-minute ad for Ascension, so I really wanted the YouTuber in this case to get the money, so I sat through the whole damn thing. Wasn't enough to sway me, but I did find the concept interesting.
It is pretty cool. So my main is currently, I've got, because I've been enjoying it so much because it's not retail, and it does harken back to more of the fun stuff. The part I don't care for is that it's just up to the Burning Crusade, and I hated the Burning Crusade, not for the content. All the gear looks like it's fucking retarded Power Ranger shit. All the gear, as far as any of the new gear. No, you can on Ascension. You can, trust me. I've spent a ton of money on Ascension already. I really enjoy it. I'm a member of a guild. We did a raid a couple nights ago. Got to kill Thalos, but we couldn't take him down. I was having all kinds of problems. So my character, my Horde main, is a Forsaken. Since it's classless, my character is a Forsaken Paladin for the most part. But he's a Ret Pally.
I mean, that should make sense. There's a Forsaken NPC in the Argent Dawn over in Light's Hope who is basically a Paladin.
Yeah, exactly. And I've been doing that. I've been playing, doing those Light's Hope quests for the Argent Crusade, because I want one of their tabards.
But it's only up to BC, really?
Yeah, Ascension is, yeah. They're working on next expansion for Lich King, because for Lich King, so they have to, I guess, basically the way I understand it, nobody's told me this, but it's kind of like you have to modify everything, because everything is hunter, rogue, paladin, priest, mage, warlock, yada yada.
Right.
There are no classes. You essentially, as you level up to your max 70, you get ability points that you can dump into different abilities. They have pre-built specs. I'm in a guild, so I'm in a Horde guild called The Night Off. And it's not spelled witty like Knight. It's just A Night Off. Because I guess it was the Horde guild, the sister guild to my Alliance guild, where, if they wanted to just take a night off and not dick with stuff on the Alliance side, I don't know.
And a quick aside, I don't want to interrupt you, Sin, but Ollamh, I don't know if you've heard that, but there's a ton of fireworks outside right now.
Oh, great.
So I don't know if they're within range of your place or not.
I don't know. My streaming setup is down in the basement, so.
Okay, I heard what was definitely the rapid fire of city fireworks almost. Like, if you told me that was a big budget deal. All right, sorry, Sin, go on.
No, that's cool. Yeah, so my main is, again, so basically he's a Forsaken Paladin. I do have an imp, because when he came back, things were a little tarnished from when he was alive. And he chose to, because he's named after, so I chose the name that was from my original Alliance tune from way back. I've had like 3 WoW accounts. And I've played since like vanilla. And so my first character was an orc. The second character, when I found out you could play on a server where people didn't just murder you constantly, because I started out on a PvP server.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that's not very forgiving when you're a new player. It's absolutely fucking terrible.
Yeah.
But so my fiance at the time, she's like, "Oh, I'm playing on Scarlet Crusade." And I'm seeing her running around, and I see like, level 60 Hordes running past her and just not murdering her. And I'm like, "What?" I said, that server's full of pussies. You just can't do that shit. And finally I went over and I was like, "Oh, this is so nice, because I can run around and I can actually adventure and I can do my quests and not get gang raped for no reason, other than the fact that they can just kill me."
Yeah, I once did something like that. I was in Feralas on my Night Elf Priest since vanilla, and there's this troll hunter. She's just running around, and I'm like, she sees me, I've like easily got at least 10 levels over her, so she cannot see my actual level as a result.
You're a skull, yep.
And so I just see what she's looking at in the area, and I just point down a mob and let her tag it, and I finish off the mob after she's tagged it. We just go through this until she finishes her quest, does a bunch of emotes thanking me, and then runs off. And nowadays, in retail, we could actually be in the same group.
So
back then, this was a PvP server.
That's the cool thing about Ascension. So I could essentially take my undead paladin and walk up to an alliance character and say "fuck you," and they know exactly what I'm saying because it's done. When we were running Tempest Keep or whatever the hell it is, fighting Kel'Thalas, we had alliance members. We had alliance members in the party.
Now they implemented it before the official one did. That is interesting.
It is pretty cool. So a friend of mine from SL is actually going to come play, and she's like, I'm telling her, yeah, it doesn't. She's like, I can make a Horde character and an Alliance character on the same account. I was like, yeah, it's like an RP server that way. She's like, but you can't do that. I was like, no, you couldn't do that because you limited yourself to being on a PvP server.
Yeah, you could do that in PvE. And eventually they moved it to the PvP servers too, before they got rid of PvP servers and just went with the war mode thing instead.
Yeah, but I really enjoy it. I mean, I've been having a lot of fun. Yesterday they had an update and it kind of broke my launcher, so I had to reinstall the launcher, but then it worked. I've spent probably about $100 just buying myself goodies, and it's not technically pay to win. I mean, if you want to buy a potion to boost so in other words, I didn't want to dig through leveling up to 70. Because I've done this a bajillion times throughout retail, and I was like, okay, I just want to do this. So I did pay cash. I get my character to 70, and then I was like, well, that's really not bad because it's like maybe $10, $15 at most.
That is cheaper than what WoW charges for the same thing.
Exactly. So I have 3 70s. So I have Toten, that's my main. I have Sanilia, who is my alliance main. I have my blacksmith, who's a blood elf blacksmith, and her name is Thotra, because I thought it was funny, thought. So I was getting, she wears, so if you're familiar with WoW at all, and if you've ever seen the Tyrant armor, when you put it on a girl, you put it on a dude character, it's armor. But if you put it on a female character, it's thigh-high boots. I mean, it's just missing a thong. It's bondage gear, basically.
You see that all the time in FF14. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah.
Although their true bondage gear is behind a paywall. But I went ahead and linked something over in the live stream chat, and I just linked to my character in WoW on the main retail server if you want to take a look. That's the same character I've been playing since 2004. He's had one server transfer from Asgalore PvP to Blackhand PvE in about early 08.
So, my first account I sold to my fiance because I was like, I'm done. I just don't want to play anymore. And her roommate at the time was like, wow, I really want to get into WoW. So I sold my account to her. And then, but it was under the impression that they would keep my my rogue, not use him until I could get another account, which was like a year later, and they followed through because I wanted to get my name back.
Okay.
And I got another account that got hacked. When I talked to Blizzard, they're like, "You should have had this, this, and this." I'm like, "It's your system that got hacked. It's not my computer. I don't have any keyloggers or anything like that. I check that shit pretty frequently."
And they have been attacked successfully before.
Yeah, well, and this was, so I was like, fuck Blizzard. And the person that I was running with was a very good friend of mine, and apparently that friend got busted for buying gold from Chinese gold farmers or some shit, or somebody else used her account, and they shut her down. So I was like, fuck Blizzard. I'm not giving them any more money. And then I bought another account, Went through and bought all the stuff. Then I played through Shadowlands, and I just kind of just got tired of it.
I don't like Shadowlands. I didn't like BFA either. Legion was good, but to be honest, I'm there because, well, it's a social outlet. I consider the subscription to be my equivalent of... If this was Nerd Golf, that's my green fee.
Well, so the thing is, I liked a lot of Shadowlands. I loved the houses. I was Maldraxxus because everything is all bones and it's heavy metal. It's the heavy metal zone.
Oh yeah, I went
Maldraxxus
on my paladin. Yes.
Yeah. So, but the problem is the guilds that I was in or were in, like the Alliance Guild, I was just in the guild. I had like a friend or two in the guild, so that's why I was in the guild. And then the Horde Guild, I can't remember how I ended up in the Horde Guild that I was in, but it was like I was just doing everything by myself. And to run the Maw, and I realized that, L2P and all that kind of stuff, learn to play noob. But I just got tired of going into those places like that. And I'm like, fuck, what am I, I knew my rotations and all that kind of good shit. But I was basically trying to gear myself by myself for end game content with no help.
Yeah, you needed a better guild.
So yeah, exactly. So after a while, I was like, I'm just fucking done. I have no reason to go back.
I'm going to let you in on something. Most of my guild is gone. Like, the guild leader occasionally logs in. It's me and a member of my D&D group in there. But I raid Tuesday and Thursday nights with a group on a completely different server because, yay, thank you, Battle.net. And it's just a cross-server battle group, and it's worked out pretty well. I grab other people I know, and now they can be Alliance or Horde, and they all jump in, and we just make sure, as best we can across several servers, that they're taken care of. And this also means, at least during Shadowlands, we could enter the Maw together, as long as we're in the same group ahead of time.
Yeah. I mean, I like the story of the Maw. I started to get tired, and I'm sorry to keep blathering on about WoW, Ollamh, if you had other ideas.
Oh, that's all right.
But I got tired of WoW. My favorite leader has always been Sylvanas. Always. I mean, because to me, the fact that she's a hot dead chick, that doesn't hurt anything, okay? I mean, just to be honest.
I'm a goth. I'm not going to shame you.
Yeah, so... But she was the one, like, Thrall is Green Jesus. And
yes.
Thrall shows up whenever Green Jesus needs to do something Jesus-y. Is the easiest way to put it.
You're not wrong.
It's accurate.
I've never really had an affinity for the Tauren. Not that I have any problem with the Tauren. I just have never had an affinity with the Tauren. Goblins... I don't like WoW's goblins. I mean, they're closer to me, they're not goblins. They're little slimy green people from Jersey. And so I just, I never wanted to be, nope. I may have had a goblin or two, character-wise. But the between both factions, the characters that, or the races that appealed to me most was either human, Orc, Forsaken, and then I did have some of the later, like the Cinderai and the Shalderai, and I even had a Void Elf, because the Void Elves were just reskinned Blood Elves. One of the things that I miss are, that I'm kind of grumpy about it with Ascension. Not grumpy per se, but I wish they had. I wish they had the skins. So you could make, like Thatra, my Blood Elf, I would have made her a Dark Ranger. I would have used the Dark Ranger skins. I would have made her an undead. Because that's what the Dark Ranger are. They're just undead. They just happen to not be all rotten and shit.
Right, they're recent undead. Although I would love to see some, well, if they're recent enough that an extremely modeled, rotting night elf, void elf, or blood elf skin would not make a lot of sense, I'll admit.
But yeah, I've always liked Sylvanas. She's been, to me, when you talk to her, when you interact with her, other than the slightly genocidal stuff about killing all the living, but I kind of get that. I mean, or I don't kind of get it. I get it because of all the Horde races and all the factions. For one, they reached out to the Alliance first and would have joined the Alliance and probably would have fought beside the Alliance. But the humans said, fuck you, you guys are gross and stinky.
Yeah. It's kind of the it's kind of the old cliche. Oh no, you're ugly or smelly or just this, so you have to go over. We don't want you on the good side.
Yeah. So
and the D&D stuff for that goes into wonderful detail if you get the Player's Guide to the Horde for 3.5.
I have all that stuff, or had all that stuff. Back when I worked for, back when I was like really just nuts over like getting like the D&D versions or whatever it was for WoW, I did have a ton of the source books. This was stuff that would have been probably about 10 years ago now, so I don't even know if that would have been in there.
What always weirded me out is that Thrall's alignment is chaotic neutral.
He's not chaotic neutral. Green Jesus can't be chaotic neutral.
That's what I would have said, but that was right there in their book.
He's like, so Green Jesus is like, he's lawful good. Really, in all honesty, he is lawful good.
Exactly.
Because it's not because I don't hate Thrall. I hated when Thrall went from a warrior and he's like, I'm going to be a shaman. I hate shamans. They're fucking annoying. I don't like druids either, to be honest with you. Because druids are overpowered. I've had ever since, I want to say, when ZA was released, I've hated druids.
Zul'Aman? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, right, the animal things going on in there.
Well, no, not because of it's because of druid players, not because of druid content.
Oh.
So as a rogue, because my main's always been a rogue up until, I learned how to play a warrior and all that kind of stuff. But my main's always been a rogue. So all rogues can do is DPS. We can't do anything else. That's all we can do, DPS. Can I heal you? No. Maybe I can slap a bandage on your ass.
I mean, I look at a rogue and I think interrupts, strategic AoE.
Fan of Knives is shit, but yeah.
Fan of Knives, I thought they... Yeah, that one has gone back and forth. It's had its moments.
Yeah, I mean, and remember, it's been... I haven't played retail in a couple of years, or close to 2 years now. So
okay, so you would have gotten out early Shadowlands.
Yeah. But, so all rogues can do, we just, as a rogue player, we just DPS. And you've got a druid comes in, you're like, I'm a feral druid and I need that leather gear for my cat form. Go fuck yourself, bitch. Be a tree, heal somebody, do something useful. All I can do is DPS. That's all I get to do.
I am normally on DPS as a priest because, of course, I shadow. But I have to put my healing pants on a lot, depending on what goes on.
That's different. I've never lost gear to a priest. Because priests wear cloth.
Yep. And I used to be number 1 for DPS in my group, but shadow nerfs.
Druids, they can tank, they can heal, they can DPS. Great hybrid class. I mean, as far as the class goes,
the only one with 4 specs.
Yeah, on Ascension, I'm actually a feral druid. But the cool thing about Ascension is I don't have to worry about stealing your leather armor from a rogue. I just wear plate. So I'm a big plated kitty.
So the Night Fae faction in Shadowlands had to work out pretty well, considering plate from them looks like it's made of wood.
So are you saying you're Battle Cat?
No, Sanilla is not Battle Cat. She's not green.
And Battlecat already showed up in-game during Burning Crusade, alongside Adam and Skeletor.
Oh shit, where's Skeletor at?
Right by him, over in Shatrat.
Oh, I'll have to look for them.
They're
later.
practically next to each other. So then they'll just complain about each other, provided their dialogue hasn't been disabled, like it was towards the end of Burning Crusade, which I thought was a crying shame.
Yeah, I just recently, one of the things that pisses me off, well, so Ascension uses the new models, which is fine. I prefer the new models myself.
Yes. So
they look nicer. They just, in all, it makes the game, it doesn't look as dated. I don't mind stylized characters. I mind stylized characters when they're out of date.
I was going to say, the old orc models looked horrible, and they have yet to update some of the old things like the old wolf mounts for orcs.
Oh, they've updated them now. They look
Oh, they did? Okay.
Yeah, well, at least in Ascension, so yeah, they have to have updated them.
I didn't know if they were just using the ones from Warlords of Draenor that came in.
They might have been. They might. I don't know. Yeah. I don't have a wolf.
I love those. I mean, my Blood Elf Paladin, I put him in as much orcish looking plate armor as I can and have him ride that wolf, because I don't know why, I just feel I need to.
So with my Forsaken character, so Toten, which is German for death or murder or whatever. But it's German. So he wears the Mask of the Penance, which is the weird purple paladin hood with the full face mask. And then he's got the shoulders of the penance set. He's wielding two of the big one-handers from Maldraxxus, because they've just kind of taken gear, and a lot of it is because the way Ascension is geared, I think they more set it up to be a PvP. You don't have to PvP. Now, if you go from level 1 to 70 with PvP on and never die, you get a free mount, and it's one of the ones that you can't buy. You can't pay for it. It's one of the it's an uncorrupted Voidwing.
That is a good thing to see.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like the way that Blizzard rewarded players who stuck through the whole thing for the first 10 years with the wolf statue. Yeah, I don't know. Have I ever shown you the photo of that thing?
I've seen it before.
Okay, yeah. So you know what it is. I've got one of those things.
Cool. If I would have stuck with it, because like I said, I played on and off since vanilla. If I would have just stayed playing since vanilla, I would have got one.
Yeah, the reason I almost didn't, because I made the mistake of dating someone towards the end of Lich King and Cataclysm that was, a very controlling type and was trying to get me to shut off the game. I was actually all about to freeze my account when I realized it wasn't going to save me money, because the 6 months subscription on Zon was just going to tick on anyway. So I just left it as was. Figured I would just cancel when it came down to it, and then she cheated on me brutally, and I was just like, fuck it, I'm back in.
Oh yeah, been there.
Yeah, the controlling, the controlling, well, oh no, you have to get rid of this because that's taken away from time that you should be spending with that's taking away from time that that should be mine.
Oh, it wasn't even that. It was just that she didn't want me playing it.
Well, but the controlling personality is your attention should be your time should be spent doing what I tell you to do.
Close. She tried to get me to go to Ragnarok Online instead.
Well, so my ex was worse than that. because I worked in a convenience store. I worked there for 8 years. In 8 years, I didn't miss a single day of work, except for when my dad died. And I wouldn't have missed work then, except for somebody come up and told me, and I was like, "Fucking, I'm leaving." Oh, and when my daughter was born. But my ex-wife, you talk about controlling. So I had friends that were girls that would come into the store all the time because I was there. Because they, back then I was I had game for one, and for another I was charming and I was funny and I hadn't been beaten down by life and wasn't a bitter, grouchy old bastard.
I was gonna say, I'm like, wait, what happened? What the hell happened to you, man?
Yeah, I used to be fun-loving. I used to be congenial. Well, I generally try to be congenial, but yeah. So, like, for example, there was this one girl, her name was Jennifer. Beautiful, pale blonde. She had an ass that wouldn't quit. Just gorgeous. And I would flirt with her all the time. I flirted with her before I met my wife. And because we were friends, and it never went any further than me running my mouth. Just, she would giggle at me, that kind of shit. Because she liked the attention. Like women, like a lot of women do. This was back, 90s. Late 90s. And I would tell her every time Jennifer would leave, I don't know if you're familiar with, you ever heard of Rocky Mountain jeans?
Vaguely.
Kind of.
Rocky Mountain jeans are the most wonderful Western wear a girl can ever wear, because they have no pockets, and I don't know how they do it, but I've never seen a woman wear Rocky, and I don't even know if they make them anymore, but I've never seen a woman wear Rocky Mountain jeans that didn't make their ass look mouth-watering. So Jennifer would come in, and I'd say, every time she'd leave, I'd say, I hate to see you go, but I love to watch you leave. And she would just laugh. And I said it to her every time she come in. So it wasn't something that, like I was being like lascivious, or, it was just kind of like me saying bye, because I'd known her so long.
Yeah.
I could have said, have a great day, and it would have been the same thing. She would have took it as the same thing, but my wife found out. Oh my God, she absolutely lost her shit. She's like, you can't talk to her anymore. I was like, well, it kind of doesn't work that way, because I have a fucking job. Your ass won't work, so I have to interact with people.
Yeah, you can't ignore somebody just because, oh no, my wife doesn't want me talking to you. Yeah, that's...
Yeah, well, that was just one of the many straws in the camel's back that broke the camel's back. It wasn't the final, but it was fucking one of many.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay, so to get to the topic of tonight, or at least the title. So a funny story in a funny story from my background, or my history. Oh, I will wait for Sid to get back. I'll wait for Sid to get back, because this is one of those stories that just, one of those things that just blew my mind. So yeah, the story actually came to mind mostly because of the insanity that has been going on the past couple days, as far as like various different shows and stuff like that. That's just like oh my god, these poor fragile ego morons type of thing. Yeah, it's been the general geek sphere has been interesting lately. I will say that much. Yeah, I never really got that deep into the World of Warcraft. It was always kind of like, yeah, okay, it's a cool game, but I never really got like deep into the lore and stuff like that.
I mean, if you've been playing as long as I have, it's kind of not possible not to, but
yeah, I was gonna say, it's like, you know, you play for long enough, it's like, yeah, you're gonna get deep into the lore. You kind of have to.
Yep.
You actually see it develop, which is an important part.
I can tell you when certain classes became available for certain races, like Tauren Paladins became a thing right before Cataclysm. Ditto for Undead and Human Hunters. I can tell you when the allied races were allowed to start becoming Death Knights.
I don't remember if I was still. I think I was still in that at that point.
Right, that would have been towards the end of Warlords of Draenor, Battle for Azeroth, when they started making things like Pandaren Death Knight, Kultiran Death Knight, Zandalari Death Knight available.
Okay. Yeah, wow. That's
because up to that point, the only race outside the allied races that couldn't be Death Knight up to that point had been Pandaren. So they got the same starting point, and at level 10 as well for playing a Death Knight as the allied races.
Okay.
Which the whole thing there is that Bolvar Fordragon decides that, hey, everyone needs to be available to come back from the dead and fight the forces of death, the Legion, etc. Since Bolvar Fordragon is up until right before Shadowland starts the new Lich King.
Not anymore.
Yep, now there is no Lich King.
Okay, Sin is back. So I will tell my story now, because I think Sin will get a kick out of this one too. So okay, the title and general topic comes from a time when 3 of my friends were living out in a farmhouse with a couple other people. Old horse farm.
Is it the one I'm thinking of?
Yep. So the one of the guys that my friends was living with was asking for a recipe that I had made. And we were going through the recipe, and one of the ingredients was chickpeas. And he's like, "Oh, is there any kind of a substitution for the chickpeas? Because I can't bring myself to buy chickpeas." I'm like, and part of me was like, "Oh, okay, well, yeah, you could." And then I'm like, wait a minute. You can't bring yourself to buy chickpeas. It's not about the flavor. It's not about the texture. It's about what is it? So I'm like, okay, well, I suppose you could substitute garbanzo beans. He's like, oh, garbanzo beans, no problem. I can buy. I have no problem with garbanzo beans. I'm like, wait, so you literally, yeah, it's like it's the exact same thing. It was literally his masculinity was so goddamn fragile that he could not bring himself to buy something named chickpeas, but garbanzo beans were manly enough that he could. I'm like, are you fucking wow? I'm like, and later on that night, we were going out to the bar, and I asked my friends, I'm like, that was a bunch of bullshit, right? He was just bumming. No, he really was just that, like, hyper masculine type person that was just, he could not buy something because it was named Chickpeas.
What the hell, ass balls?
Exactly. I'm like, it was just one of those things where I'm like, are you fucking serious? Like, how? Just how?
Well, it's not like he was saying buy dick beans and suck the juice out of them.
Exactly. It's like, look, buying chickpeas doesn't mean that you're a chick. It doesn't mean it. That's not. It's just a name.
What a dumbass.
But no, I thought of that. I thought of that over the past couple days, because apparently there's 2 complaints with the latest She-Hulk. I'm not going to go into big into this, but of course, they teased Daredevil a couple episodes ago. And then the next episode, Daredevil wasn't in it, so people started getting upset. The episode after that, Daredevil still wasn't in it. People were getting really pissed at that point. So last episode, they brought in Daredevil. Now he's got the red and yellow costume, which people are like, I hate
his original suit.
Yeah. And a lot of people are like, oh no, I hate the new suit. Hate the new suit. Hate the new suit. But bigger than that, the biggest not my Daredevil reason for hating on what the MCU is doing with Daredevil is because Daredevil fucks. Daredevil gets laid, and they're like, nope, not my Daredevil.
What?
He's well known for banging a very hot Greek chick.
Exactly. It's like, but no, it was, I saw legitimate, honest opinions that were Daredevil fucks. That's so unrealistic.
Blind guys can't get laid? Okay, like, I can see some of the grief that comes towards She-Hulk as a kind of a comic purist, whatever. I'm not talking about that. That's just stupid. You're getting mad because a heterosexual character is having sex? Were they mad that he wasn't, like taking it up the butt? Or, they were just mad because he was getting laid.
Yeah. Excuse me. Popcorn dust.
Ew.
Don't die. I asked an important question. Okay, not really important.
But no, it was, I don't know. I don't know why it was, but it was just, no. Daredevil has sex. So unrealistic. It's like, wait, you're talking about somebody who basically uses sonar to see.
Why people fuck all the time?
And it's unrealistic moment is he had sex.
I'm guessing that comment came from some, like, I don't know, Gen Z or what? I don't know.
Not certain who.
Because
yeah, it's the same type of people. It's the same type of people that really got offended. And felt targeted when, in the, like, I think it was the 2nd or 3rd episode, there were like a bunch of people that were like doing videos and messages and stuff like, oh, so, she stole she stole the Hulk's powers, or, oh, they created a new character, oh, there's a new superhero on the scene, and it's a female version of a male character. She-Hulk has been masterful at trolling.
She-Hulk, for one, has been around for probably since early 80s. Maybe late
70s. I'm gonna look it up.
You could be right, Raz. I don't.
I'm too curious now not to.
I've never had a problem with She-Hulk. I never read the comic, it wasn't because I just like Hulk type characters for me. Just the same reason I don't read Superman.
Okay, it was February 1980. You were right.
Well, I said 80s-ish. I'm not...
Right. You were
I'll
closer
take the
than
win.
me.
It
like-
kind of averaged out between the two of you, really.
I mean,
Yeah.
either way. But yeah, I mean, as
yeah.
far as... I don't... Like, for example, I'm not one of those people that gets mad when it comes to comic book stuff. When, like, they take... I don't know. I'll take well, aside from She-Hulk, Supergirl. I don't give a fuck about Supergirl. I don't have a problem with her. I'm not going to read her comic. I would look at art drawn of her because I'm a heterosexual male, and yeah, I'm going to do that. Power Girl. I love Power Girl. Never fucking read a comic, but I love the character. I love the fact that the whole time, boob window, it's on the chest of her costume, kept getting bigger and bigger because nobody was paying attention. And the guy who was drawing it said, fuck it, I'm going to have some fun with it until they catch me and tell me not to.
Yeah, it's like, how far can I go with this?
How far can I push this? Because nobody's paying attention to me. Yes.
But yeah, I mean, I will say they kind of, the writers did kind of troll the Daredevil fuck boys a little bit. Because at the end of the episode, the last time you see Matt Murdock is the next morning, and he is happily doing the walk of shame, dressed in his Daredevil costume.
Minus the shoes.
That's
important.
Carrying the boots, which is a very big part of the walk of shame. The walk of shame, you always
see the woman carrying her heels. So,
yeah, that's a big part of the, and it's like, and oh my god, I figured that was like the big one that people were gonna bitch about, but it's like, no, it's just the fact that he had sex. It's like, wow.
So, yeah, I don't understand that. I don't understand that.
I don't either.
I didn't figure either of you would understand it. It's just, like I said, it's just one of those things. It's like,
it's either, are you mad because a blind person had sex? Because blind people fuck. That's how they make new people. Blind people fuck and don't necessarily make blind people. They just make more people. Just like heterosexuals. Heterosexuals fuck and make more people. That's what happens.
Yeah.
I'm reminded of the Batman going down on Catwoman controversy. Have you two both already heard of this?
Yes.
I saw a bit about it. Who gives a shit?
Exactly. Except for DC had to shoot down because Batman doesn't do that. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Why not?
What?
But
heterosexual man doesn't do that.
I'm sorry, but I'm going to echo Thor. That's what heroes do.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, apparently Batman is supposed to be the selfish lover, I guess, or he is supposed to be celibate for some unknown reason.
Yeah, well, Talia fixed that shit, even if she had to not. He's not celibate.
Yeah, obviously, that's true. That's true. I'd forgotten about that. Yeah, he has a fucking kid. He is obviously not celibate.
This little bastard evil kid, basically. Because Damian went through the training and shit that Talia. Yeah, so Damian is way... everybody's worried about Batman. Batman has contingencies for everything. Sure he does. He wants to be, in case Superman goes bad, he has a kryptonite bullet. Blah, 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 everybody. He has some kind of counter thing. He won't use them. Damian, his son, who is not, he doesn't have Batman's same code, to be like, Superman was a dick today. Pow! And he would shoot him.
Yeah.
Because he was raised with the League of Assassins.
Yeah, it's like, the Batman would be like, no, this is only if Superman absolutely just goes way over the line. Damian, it's like, if it's, Damian or anybody from the League of Assassins, like, if there's a possibility, if it looks like he might It's like if Superman pauses and is kind of like, wait a second, looks like he's kind of actually considering it. It's like, nope, boom, you're out. You're gone.
I don't. I think one of the things I miss, because I read a lot of because there's a website I go to that I read a lot of 80s comics. So I miss things DC had this amazing comic. I've read the entire run of Suicide Squad. And from Suicide Squad, because some of the characters from Suicide Squad ended up, Amanda Waller mainly, ended up being part of what's called Checkmate. Checkmate was a really cool idea. As a kid, I didn't give it a chance, but it's a really good comic. But I really like the 80s era comics. For one, it's what I grew up with. For another, it's kind of neat to see the stuff because it is dated. Some of the costumes, of course, look terrible because it was the 80s. But in the 80s, they didn't look terrible. They were cool.
Yeah. They look different and edgier than what came before.
I mean, nowadays, I don't know. I think, in all honesty, I mean, this is just my opinion, be it right or wrong. I think comics kind of did I understand why comics have kind of went the way they did. But I also think that in doing what they've done, as far as modernizing a lot of stuff, they've kind of cut off their nose to spite their face. Oh, we've got to get with the times. So, for example, Jay Garrick, maybe it wasn't Jay, no, it was Scott something. The original Green Lantern, they made him gay. Okay, I have no problem with gay people. Clearly, my daughter's gay. But instead of making a new character, this is the same problem I have with, like when they this is a character who was originally a white character or this character or that character, and changing them to be somebody else.
That can sometimes work.
If it's a mantle, yes. So in other words, if it's like just a title they're taking on, like I have no problem with Falcon becoming Captain America because Captain America is a title.
Yeah. Now, if they had taken Steve Rogers and changed it, yeah, I could see that.
But here's one for you, Nick Fury.
Okay, so I don't have a problem with the Samuel L. Jackson Nick Fury because that Nick Fury is based in that's the Ultimates universe.
Yeah.
My Nick Fury looks like David Hasselhoff.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
But you understand what I'm saying.
I get that. I'm just, the mental image is still there.
I didn't hate it. I didn't hate the TV show.
It wasn't awful.
It wasn't. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't Marvel Productions for fuck's sake, but it wasn't terrible.
This was the same time as the Captain America movie or the Captain America made for TV movie where they had like the helmet that they had to put prosthetic ears on because they forgot to cut the fucking holes. They couldn't have it adhere to his face and have the holes for the ears for some reason.
So the thing that pissed me off about that movie, because it was actually a movie, because I worked in a video store when that came out, was the fact that they made the Red Skull Italian. Oh my God, that made me so angry. Because as someone of German heritage, when you have an excellent character who is German, even if they're the bad guy, you want them to stay German.
Yeah.
At least I did.
I think that was done basically. I think it was basically kind of a, hey, we want this to be able to potentially play in Germany, so we're gonna make him Italian and say he was kind of one of Mussolini's.
I don't know.
That's
yeah.
kind of what I got, but
I can see that. I can see that line of reasoning.
see the reason I hated Red Skull was because he was Red Skull for like 5 fucking minutes. It was like, oh, he's Red Skull, and then it's like, oh, okay, so Steve Rogers gets frozen, and Red Skull had plastic surgery, so he's no longer, his head is no longer red. It's like, he's not the Red Skull. It's like,
In other words, our makeup budget was gone already.
Oh, the other thing about that Red Skull that pissed me off to no end, he had a nose.
yeah, it's like,
Oh God, that made me so mad.
I will say this,
He's uncanny undead.
I will
He
say
had
this,
a huge Italian nose.
I will say this though. I mean, making him Italian was a little bit better, not by much, but a little bit better than Hugo Weaving's attempt at a German accent in
I liked
Captain.
Hugo Weaving's Red Skull.
I
actually did
liked
too.
it. I liked it as a character. The accent was just,
Well,
the accent was awful. It's like, you know, I mean, it's like at some point you have to say, look, we like you as the character. We like the character. We like you playing the character, but your accent is just, it's not there.
We're
You
going to
sa-
dub you over like Mel Gibson in Mad Max.
Yeah, it's like you
or Ray Park.
Yeah, it's like you sound like you are a British person trying to do a German accent and failing miserably, because that's what's fucking happening here.
To be fair, Hugo Weaving as Red Skull's accent is still nowhere near as bad, and someone's going to want to kill me for this one. Sean Connery in the Russian accent in The Hunt for Red October.
Oh my god.
It's Sean Connery. I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
Sean Connery
just
plays. Sean Connery plays Sean Connery the same way John Wayne played John Wayne. I know.
And Samuel L. Jackson.
yeah.
As much as I love the Duke, and I love Sean Connery and even Samuel L. Jackson but Samuel L. Jackson, like, he's always angry black man. He only knows that one role.
With one
Jurassic
exception.
Park, he's
With
definitely
one,
different there.
Well,
I was gonna say there's one or two exceptions, because there was like what was it? The Kingsman. Where he's like that, he's got this, he's putting on this like
yeah.
fucking absurd lisp.
Oh yeah, but then he's just like,
And it's just like, wow.
but he's still angry black man because he wants to kill most of the world.
Yeah, he's
Just
just,
in a different way.
yeah.
But yeah, you're right. I stand
he's
corrected.
he's more intellectually pissed than just like screaming and shouting. But yeah, I mean,
And
he's Jeff Bezos or Schulman.
And as much as I hate to admit this, Mace Windu, that is not his usual self in those movies.
yeah, you know, I don't know, because I mean, the
I'm
fact,
pretty sure on the Mace Windu's hilt says "bad motherfucker."
I mean,
They
look,
had to yield something.
look at it this way. Samuel L. Jackson was the one that specifically requested the purple lightsaber blade.
Yep. Nobody else ever had one.
And he approached George Lucas and was like, "Hey, can I have a purple lightsaber? I want a purple lightsaber." Well, where does purple land on the spectrum? It's right between blue and red. So, yeah, you know, and his attitude and the way he played the character, it's like, no, he was still angry black dude. He was Jedi. But he was as angry as a Jedi could be and still call themselves a Jedi.
Yep. Yeah, like I said, I like Samuel L. Jackson, but he's not. There are a lot of actors that are just. So The Rock is another one. He's just The Rock. I don't care what fucking character he's playing. He's still The Rock. Kevin Hart. He's silly little comedian black guy. And I love Kevin Hart. He's a great character. I mean, he's a great comedian. It's really funny. It's funny to watch the videos when him and The Rock just interact. Because he gives The Rock so much shit.
Yeah.
Even though The Rock could like wad him up into a tiny little ball and throw him in the trash.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that kind of get typecast. They really excel at one specific thing, and then they just, it's like,
well, they're not real actors.
Well, even if they were like really good actors, it doesn't matter because nobody's going to offer them anything other than what they have done in the past.
Let me say this:
you are great at, like, Danny DeVito. Danny DeVito is actually a really fucking great actor. He is fucking amazing. But for the longest time, he was
creepy weirdo.
Yeah,
he's always a creepy weirdo. Except for in that Matilda.
Yeah,
he's like,
yeah,
good dad.
He's kind of been typecast as that creepy, edgy outsider, angry type person. Even
and I whip him out and start blasting.
Oh, you know what? Actually, I take that back. There was one where he was actually kind of a good guy. He wasn't the usual creepy bastard. And that was Junior.
Oh, I was going to say Twins. Because
Twins,
he
was still the creepy. He was still the.
But he was supposed to be.
Well, that's the point. I mean, it doesn't matter if he's supposed to be or not. That's the character he's playing. But in Junior, he wasn't really the creepy ass bastard. He wasn't the creepy, just I'm in it for me type self-absorbed person.
See, that's the only Schwarzenegger film I've never seen.
It's an interesting movie.
I'll pass.
I just preferred him in other people's money.
You just don't want to see Arnold Schwarzenegger give birth. I understand.
Well, for fuck's sake, man. I mean, Arnie. So I would no more want to see Arnie give birth than I want to see, Stallone get his ass beat in a movie by a bunch of midgets or whatever,
I'm sorry. I now want to pay money to see that.
I kind of want to see.
Have you seen Samaritan yet? Have either of you seen Samaritan?
Yes, I have.
I have not.
I loved it. I loved it. I thought it was
a great
very
movie.
well done. As far as a superhero movie goes, it's not an actual, Marvel or DC. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I loved the twist at the end, which I'm not going to spoil it for anybody because I really did honestly enjoy it.
I didn't see. I loved the movie. But the twist was, for me, like telegraphed at the beginning.
See, I didn't really I didn't catch that twist at the beginning. The whole time I thought.
Yeah. I know exactly.
Again, I don't want to ruin it. For if Gamers is listening still and he wants to watch it, I don't want to ruin it. I think Stallone is still. He's fucking 72.
Yeah.
When he did the last Expendables movie, he fucked his neck up and he has bones fused in his neck and his spine. He is still an amazing action actor.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't do that shit now, and I'm fucking 20 some odd years younger than him. I'm also a fat bastard, but that's a different story.
But yeah, I mean, Stallone is one of the few that actually kind of broke away from his typecast. Because like Dolph Lundgren, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Bruce Willis. I mean, the list goes on and on, really. I mean, the 80s action hero type people that it was that's what they were. They were just, everybody expected every single movie that they did to be an action movie. And it's no, it's they.
Another one is Kurt Russell.
Yes. Yeah.
I love Kurt Russell. I have loved Kurt Russell since, to me, Kurt Russell can do no wrong since Escape from New York.
he actually did break away from his action from this action stuff fairly earlier than the rest, I think, because wasn't with Overboard.
Yeah, I mean, but he's always been, and well, you can't miss. So if you're gonna talk about Overboard, we've got to talk about you cannot miss Big Trouble in Little China. That is and while it is an action movie, that is the most goofy fucking movie. What I honestly think, I think that Big Trouble in Little China is the perfect role-playing game movie, because you start out with expectations of, Pork Chop Express, and you got this white guy, and he's clearly going to be the hero. No, he's the comic relief, and he has no idea he's the comic relief.
Exactly. That's exactly what I said when there was I don't remember if it was when I did a review of it, or when they were like talking about a remake of Big Trouble in Little China.
God,
it's like,
can't do that.
It's like, oh no, see, it's like, yeah, with Kurt Russell, it's like he was not the star. He wasn't the hero. He was a sidekick.
Was the star, but he wasn't the protagonist. He was the dumbass that followed the protagonist around and said interesting shit.
He wasn't the hero. He was he was the star, but he wasn't the hero.
Yeah.
He was the sidekick. And it's like, I think at one point they were talking about remaking it with The Rock in the lead. And it's like, The Rock is going to have to be The Rock is going to be the star
shit.
And the hero. He's going to be, Jack Burton's going to be this big buff, badass. And that's going to ruin it.
Yeah, because he's supposed to be oblivious to the fact that he's basically an idiot.
Yeah.
And Kurt Russell did that fucking amazingly. He's still, no matter how inept he is, because he is way the fuck over his head. I feel kind of invincible. If you're going to do that, Keanu Reeves. If you're going to redo that movie, Keanu Reeves.
Oh, now honestly, yes. I could see Keanu Reeves being like, actually going full in on that and just being like, all right, yeah.
He's proven he can act.
Well, no, but the point is, it would be is he Bill or is he Ted?
He's Ted.
Yeah.
Okay, so it would basically be Ted in an action movie, is what it would be. Because again, Ted is clueless. And in all honesty, I did enjoy it's been probably 5 years ago now, maybe. The most recent Bill and Ted movie. I actually really enjoyed it.
It was nice.
Yes. I enjoyed it.
I still need to see it.
I liked it. I really liked it.
I did enjoy it. But the thing that made me enjoy it most was because Alex Winters, Bill, he went nowhere. He did fucking nothing. I mean, after Keanu went on to all kinds of fame, even though they were equal in regards to that movie, Bill and Ted series.
Well, he was in Lost Boys.
Yeah, but he wasn't the main character. He was just a schlub vampire.
Yeah, he didn't really have
Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah, he didn't really have a massive breakout career like Keanu Reeves did.
He did do a lot of directing, though.
Well, he did some movies, but yeah.
That's interesting. Maybe his preference went in a.
He tried, at least from what because I did some. There were some videos online that I watched where he tried, but Hollywood just didn't take to him like they took to Keanu. And which was really funny because you go from Keanu's early roles, which is, I'll just use Bill and Ted, where he's just basically kind of a stoner. And then he lucked into, well, I don't know if he lucked into, but The Matrix. And then he's a stoner because his acting, Keanu's acting is very wooden, or was very wooden, excuse me.
Yeah.
Wasn't, super rangy as far as he was kind of one of those character or actors where he was, no matter what, he was Keanu Reeves.
Yeah,
Just
he
like
was
the whole John Wayne thing.
Exactly.
Wesley Snipes is another actor.
Exactly.
There's a prime example of Wesley Snipes is badass black dude. And I like Wesley Snipes as far as like, especially in, because recently I watched Expendables 3 again.
Badass, slightly unhinged. Badass, slightly unhinged. That's
my favorite
Wesley
character in Expendables actually is Dolph Lundgren, Gunner. He's always been my favorite character, even over Arnie and Stallone and every fucking buddy else other than Jason Statham. Which is really funny because to me, Jason Statham, well, he's done a ton of action films and he's done very good action films, and some are over the top, like Crank. I
Just
love
a
that
little
movie.
over the top.
Well, hold on. If we're still looking at Keanu Reeves
Well, hang on,
in
hang
Big
on,
Trouble and
hang on. Let's finish here.
Well, no, I'm just saying, as far as the Expendables go, my favorite character is Gunner. Gunner is a dick. He's a genius. And that's so, but what's really funny is Dolph Lundgren is really a fucking genius, basically.
Oh, yeah.
He's got all kinds of fucking degrees. And it's just funny because when you look at him,
Oh yeah, everybody looks at him and thinks like Drago from fucking
Yes.
Rocky 4, and it's like,
so great, and I'm sure you've seen this, and I'm sure Ras has seen this, and probably anybody who's listening has probably seen this too. But Stallone, when they were filming that movie, because he's an active, he's competitive, he's a tough guy. I don't mean that in a bad way, but he tells Dolph, hit me, just really hit me once. They put him in the fucking hospital.
he asked for it.
But no, he wasn't mad about it. I mean, Stallone wasn't pissed. He didn't like, oh my God, I can't believe. He's not like celebrities nowadays where they're like, I can't believe it, I'm going to sue you. Blah. All that kind of bullshit. They're like, oh.
He knew it was his own damn fault.
well, that's like that's
But
like
not only that though, when the insurance came to pay for the hospital bill, he's like, no, I was in a car accident on the set. He lied to the insurance people because he was being a dumbass, and he fuck around and find out. Well, he found out.
well, that's like Kurt Russell and was it Kurt Russell and Isaac Hayes that were in the cage fight in Escape from New York?
Oh, Duke.
No,
Duke,
not
one.
Not Duke. It was. I don't think he was fighting Duke properly. It was.
Yeah,
Duke's,
I know.
Yeah, it was Duke's surrogate.
Oh,
His champion.
That was a big professional wrestler dude, is what
Yeah,
he was.
but it
They were
was.
fighting
It
with a
was.
bat with nails in it.
Yeah, it was Kurt. Kurt Russell was like, dude, fucking chill. This is not a wrestling match. This is, this is a movie, and whoever that wrestler was, I don't remember who it was now, but they were like, no, they were like going full at it, and Kurt Russell just like fucking just took the opportunity to just tap him in the balls. It's like, back the fuck off. And tapped him hard enough that the wrestler's like, oh shit. It's like, yeah, you keep wanting to make it real. I'm not pulling any punches, and I'm aiming for your dick, bitch. Fucking back off. And he did.
I will ring your chimes.
Exactly. It's like, yeah, you don't start shit if you can't finish shit.
But,
And I gotta respect. I have to. My biggest respect for Kurt Russell was actually in Escape from L.A. because there were two things with Escape from L.A. One, he busted his ass to get back down to the same size he was in Escape from New York, because that is when he starts out in the original Snake Plissken
He's
outfit.
wearing his original outfit.
Yeah, that is the
Real
original outfit. He busted his ass to get back down to that size so he could wear the original outfit. Number one. But number two, the basketball court scene was all him. Every single break that he had from filming when they were filming scenes he didn't have to be in, they had a full court basketball court set up so that he could practice. He made the full court shot.
And also, another reason why I respect him is because he was able to actually act next to Steve Buscemi and not giggle at his goofy eyes.
I mean, the dude is kind of
a human gecko.
Kind of, yeah. I mean. Now, I will say, you know, I mean, Steve Buscemi has I've got a whole lot of respect for Steve Buscemi.
So do I. Yeah, I really do, because
the man is an honest, amazing man.
But when 9/11 happened, since he was a former fireman at one of the houses that went, one of the firehouses that went and responded, he fucking took off and was like, "Hey, do you need me? I'll help."
Yeah, that's exactly. It was, not only was he a fireman, but it's one of those things where it's like when he saw somebody when he saw the need for him to step back into that role, he's like, "Look, you need me? I'm here. What do you need? What can I do?" It's kind of like, oh God, what's his name? Kim Jong? He was in Community as Professor Chang. He was in The Hangover.
He's a real doctor, isn't he?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, he's a real fucking doctor.
He still has a medical fucking license, and he's like a practicing doctor. It's like, even after getting into Hollywood and getting acting gigs left and right, everybody wants him. It's like, no, he is still keeping up with his medical license. It's like, that's just...
Isn't really his claim to fame as that character as being a dick?
Yes. Yeah, he is.
See, Hollywood is missing out on a grand opportunity with me then.
I mean, you are one hell of a dick. In the figurative term.
Yeah.
I don't want to know more. But yeah, I mean, but that's one of the things that I have to say about
Steve Buscemi?
No, Jason Ackles.
Jensen Ackles.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love Jensen Ackles.
I do. I love the guy. I love the actor. I do think he kind of needs to be careful because he is really rapidly approaching the point where he is going to start getting typecast, and
is that really a bad thing though? I mean, for fans of Supernatural, seeing Jensen Ackles either playing, a Dean type character or a dickhead Dean type character, is that really a bad thing for fans of him?
It is. I mean, well, for the fans, no. For the fans, no. But for the actor, it's like if he's happy, if he's fine, if he is fine with that typecasting, cool. But it's like it's one of those things where it's like he does need to really be aware of it, and I don't, and I hope he's kind of looking at that and being like, oh, hey, you know what? Yeah, everybody's approaching me to be, like this fucking sassy, badass motherfucker. And it's like, I want to try and do more than that. I want to be more than that. It's like, then you really need to do that now.
I don't want to see him in other roles like that. I'm a huge fan of Jensen Ackles. I don't want to see him playing anything other than an extension of Dean Winchester.
Well, that's the thing. It's like he could be. That's the problem, though. It's like, yeah, this is somebody who could be absolutely amazing in so many different roles, so many different different types of roles. And because you're saying, I don't want to see him anywhere else, you're losing out. You're losing out on an amazing actor that could be just stellar so many different places. You could be missing out on Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh,
because you're wanting a specific character.
This
No.
brings.
Okay, so I will agree and disagree with you all in the same breath. When you're saying I would be missing out, I would not be missing out if he chose to play Jack Burton.
If
Okay,
he chose
I
to,
would-
but that's not the character but that's not the type of character that you're wanting.
It's still an action role, though.
It's still
But
an
I'm saying
it's an
but I
action
am
role, but
saying
it's not this sass talking badass, because we've already established Jack Burton cannot be a badass. Dean Winchester is a badass. Soldier Boy is a badass. He
But
can't
the
be a
difference-
badass.
But the difference is Jack Burton thinks he's a badass.
Yes.
So I would have no problem seeing Jensen Ackles. I don't want to see him in like a drama. I don't, and I'm not saying he can't do it. I'm not saying it's not within his wheelhouse. I wouldn't watch that as a fan of Jensen Ackles. If it was not something that appealed to me,
Okay,
it would have to be pretty fucking compulsive for me to want to, it would have to have something in it.
I can understand that, but here's the problem. Here is the problem. If he gives in, if he does what you're wanting and what you're saying, that you're only going to ever watch him if, he would have to be absolutely compelling to do anything other than this, you are typecasting him, you are throwing him into this area where he has to be the badass. Dean Winchester is the badass. Soldier Boy is the badass. They don't just think they're the badass, they are the badass. He could never do Jack Burton because Jack Burton only thinks he's the badass, but he's not the badass.
I would still, I would still watch it.
Given what, but here's the problem. You would watch it, yes, but given what Jensen Ackles has already done, they would never cast him in the role. They would never offer him the role because that's not his type.
If I may.
Go ahead, Russ.
Are we familiar with the idea of channeling a different actor? When we were talking Keanu Reeves in this role earlier, my first thought was, if he did Jack Burton, he needs to channel Bill Murray in The Man Who Knew Too Little to make it worth our time for this role, and then we get a fresh new take, because I'm sorry, I do not want the exact same take.
Yeah.
But
I'm fine with that. I mean, as far as Jensen putting, in regards to Jensen Ackles, just using him because that's, kind of where Ollamh was going. I'm fine with seeing Jensen Ackles play a different. It would be kind of entertaining to see him be kind of a bumbling idiot.
I don't know if channeling Bill Murray would work for him in that role. I do think there's someone he should channel. I just can't narrow it down to who.
Well, but my point is, okay, so what I was trying to say is there's certain types of movies that wouldn't be interesting to me no matter who was in it. For example, I would never watch Arnie in a drama. I would never watch Stallone in a drama. I would never watch Dolph Lundgren in a drama. Those types of things. I don't care who the actor is. That's not what I want to see. I don't give a shit about drama. I've started watching The Expanse. Okay? And I started watching it because Thomas Jane is in it. Because I like Thomas Jane. I've loved him since he did The Punisher. He's one of my, and then when he did the HBO series Hung, I thought that was a pretty interesting series as well. But for the most part, in The Expanse, he's not the Punisher. He's not this badass character. Matter of fact, I've seen him in The Expanse through season 2, and I haven't finished watching it, but I do really like the show. I've watched him get his ass kicked more than I've watched him kick other people's ass.
Fair.
To be fair, as far as the Punisher, as far as his time as the Punisher, that one movie, I mean, it was kind of a 50-50 mix.
Well, but I'm just saying though.
He really got his ass kicked as much as.
Have you ever seen the and it's not officially listed. It was done by Ari, some fucking guy, I can't think his last name. It's a short. It's like 15 minutes long, called Dirty Laundry.
That sounds familiar.
So it's got Thomas Jane, and it's got Ron Perlman, and I will tell you, I love Ron Perlman. I just wish I didn't know his politics, and I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not going to get political in regards to this. I disagree with him politically, and that's all I'm going to say.
Okay, I need to take a break real quick. I need to go to the bathroom.
Same here.
I will grab a drink myself.
All right, so
some booze. Be right back.
We'll be right back, everybody.
Da 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 da. It's the hold music. Da 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 da. Hold music.
Back.
Same.
Whew. Feel much better. Hi, we're floating.
And there's a point I want to bring up I think you both will get a kick out of. Once Ollamh is back.
Wish gamers would join us, bitch. I miss my Canadian buddy. Thought maybe if he was listening, it might rile him up enough to join us. But who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, for shits and giggles, you might want to look into Ascension. You don't pay for it.
I've looked at it, but the big draw for me is the WoW I play currently. It has the people I play with and have played with for about the last decade.
I get it.
So, okay, I'm back, and I would say one thing that I would say as far as that as far as what we left on is there are there are two types of actors as far as politics, as far as I'm concerned. There are the people that are very political, but don't let that necessarily influence what movies they do. Like, they'll still, you know, they are very outspoken about their politics, but they'll still do, they will still do, like, movies that aren't necessarily centered around their particular political beliefs. That's kind of where I put Ron Perlman or Jon Voight or somebody like that. There's some people, though, that are like, they really focus on just their political beliefs, and it's like, I will do nothing other than something that pushes my political belief. And it's like, and both sides have their own fucking wackadoodle fucking assholes.
Yeah. I mean, I won't necessarily disagree with that.
I just want to bring up with regards to the typecasting, though. The Ed O'Neill effect, I want to call this. We all remember Al Bundy.
Yeah.
And once Married with Children ended, he tried going into, you know, various, well, police dramas. And the problem he had at first was everyone was so used to laughing at him that as soon as he would open his mouth to speak, people on set laughed as a reflex.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of, I mean...
He got past it. He did beat it. And he went on to do some serious drama. But the jump can be made. It's just not easy.
Well, the fact that he played the dipshit cop in Ford Fairlane...
Yeah, that didn't exactly help. I mean...
Yeah, that didn't help. I mean, I don't know of a lot of... I like Ed O'Neill. I loved Al Bundy. As you know, as a former married guy, I completely relate to that character. Except for if I had Peg Bundy, I would have been doing all kinds of horrible things to her because Katie Seagal.
Yeah,
I mean, you wouldn't have been doing all kinds of horrible things to her because she would have been just asking for it. That was kind of the push, the main issue between them. It's like,
which was the weird thing was because Al Bundy wanted to get laid because he did.
Yeah,
he, you know, white heterosexual male or whatever, but why he didn't want to do his wife. His wife walked around in those little skin-tight leopard pants that I'm sure left nothing but wonderful visions of camel toes in his dreams.
Yeah,
why he wasn't banging the shit out of Peg, other than the fact that he didn't want to make any more retarded kids.
Yeah, it was kind of one of those things where it's like, yeah, that was a little weird. That was a little bit of a disconnect as well, because it's like just about everybody that I know was like, why did you have a problem with her? And yeah, it's... I
mean, from the hair, you know, the big 80s hair to the leopard pants. I mean, and Katie Seagal is an attractive, grade A, gorgeous woman. I mean, Kurt Sutter is a lucky motherfucker. He really is. Even now, you know, when she, and I will confess, when I watched her on, you know, because I've watched every episode of Sons of Anarchy, I really hated her at times. I really, personally, would have loved to have killed her. The character, not, of course, Katie Seagal.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a nut, and I realize that they're two different things.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Just in case somebody's listening, I do not want to hurt that woman in any way, shape, or form, and would have no means to.
Yeah.
I.e. Leela on Futurama.
Oh, God, yes.
Oh, the
even
fucking...
more so. The fucking Cyclops girl. God damn, yes.
The Married with Children episode, as I like to think of it. Where, like, you know, they oh, hey, there's another Cyclops, and it's like, no, you know, and it's like, oh, you know, well, you know, they went, when they went full on that fucking, on the Married with Children type of setup between them was I loved that episode. I loved that episode.
So the best cartoon that was on network or any kind of network was a long-standing or long-running, however you want to look at it, whatever, cartoon, Archer.
I like
Archer's
Archer. Okay.
absolutely the fucking greatest. And how Archer, thing I don't get is how Archer is not banging all three women in the office, because he could get away with it. He could.
Well, he's done all three of them.
Smooth baritone, huh?
He's done all three of them.
But I'm saying he could keep doing it.
Well,
Lana,
except for
Pam is my favorite. Oh my God. I love when she was doing all the coke and she got all skinny and hot. Not that I don't like Pam normally, because Pam is the kind of woman that I would chase in real life if I gave a shit anymore, but I'm old and don't care anymore, but that's neither here nor there.
I mean, that's yeah. The everything's Pam's fat. It's like, dude, she is still fucking hot.
Pam is amazing. Big ass titties, gorgeous blonde. The fact that, if there was trouble, I just let my wife or my girlfriend deal with it, because she can whoop some motherfucking ass.
Yeah, she's proven herself the biggest badass in the fucking agency.
But Archer it's just such a great cartoon, because and I hate to say this, because a lot of people get pissed. I'm an animation snob. Like, that's why I could never get into Rick and Morty, is the animation is shit. It's just fucking garbage. I am an animation snob. Archer is gorgeous. The characters look good. The cars look good. Everything looks great. Archer is like one of those terrible 60s to 70s era spy movies, but it's meant to be that way.
Yeah.
Like, I love the season, or it was like a super mini episode where Conan was riding around in the car with Archer.
Yeah.
That was really good. It was funny. And of all the talk show guys, Conan's the only one that I've never, he's never said anything that made me go, "Oh, you're a fucking douchebag."
Well, I can see that. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing with Archer. I mean, Archer has commitment issues, period. That's the biggest problem.
Well,
I mean,
he's a drunk also.
Yeah. But I mean, as far as the women, it's like, he could I think Archer would still be doing 2 out of the 3. He would still be doing Pam, and he'd still be doing Lana, except for the fact that Lana's like, you are too much.
Lana has man hands.
No, Lana is, you are just too much. You obsess about your mother way too fucking much. Like, seriously. She's my boss. I don't need to hear about her in the bedroom as well.
Anna! I love that. I love Archer. Because it is one of the best, most well-written shows, because there's no other show really like Archer as far as
as far as like the spy type setting in particular that it does. Yeah, there really isn't anything like it.
It kind of made me mad when they had to change the name from ISIS.
Yeah,
fucking retarded terrorists.
Yeah,
just nuke those bastards. I realize that that's extreme, and I don't really mean nuke them.
Yeah.
Well, I have to be somewhat careful.
If we could nuke them and just them and not any innocent people.
Yeah, I don't want innocent people to get hurt, of course.
Yeah. I would totally be behind that if we could just be like, nope, we're going to send such a targeted nuke that it's going to take care of all of the problems and no innocent bystanders. Absolutely.
No
I'm fully
collateral
behind
damage.
it. I'm behind it. It's sadly unrealistic, but, you know.
Fuck, we could solve the Ukraine right now.
See, that's the thing for me with like Ukraine, is I like Russian women, but I don't have a problem with Ukrainian women either. Because
Well, see,
really,
that's not a
in
problem.
all
That's
honesty,
not a
they're
problem.
the same fucking thing.
That's not a see. That's the thing. That's the thing, Sin. That's not a problem because most of the Russian women are behind Putin. They don't
That's
want
true.
their husbands and sons to die. They don't want their husbands and sons to be thrown into something where they're gonna die.
A meat grinder? Yeah, I mean, look at groups like Ruskaja and Gogo Bordello. Both have Russian members, and those Russian members said, yeah, Putin's a fucking moron.
Yeah, I
Well-
mean that's the biggest thing with that situation. It's like it's not so much Russia as it's the Russian leadership, and it does go beyond Putin. I mean,
This will be a vastly unpopular opinion, and I know it will. For the most part, I don't hate Putin. This was some dumbass shit.
It was. We used to think
It
he had a
is-
brain.
Well, because he's supposed to be, while they were the bad guys, former KGB. So you would think that he would not be a dumbass about shit. The problem with Russia is kind of like our problem with Vietnam.
there's no exit
we-
strategy.
Well, and not only that, there's just certain stupid shit you cannot fight. No matter how many bodies you stack up, when people latch on to stupid, no matter what color the stupid is, whether it's red or blue stupid, when people latch on to stupid, whether it's, and again, whether it's, just talking about the U.S., whether it's liberal or conservative, stupid, when people latch on too tight, you can't work with them.
Yeah, I mean I mean, and that is an extremely. I mean, I have no problem with that. I agree wholeheartedly. It's like, yeah, there is definitely a level of stupid, and I agree wholeheartedly also that, yeah, it is really on both sides. It's when you latch on to an ideal that it's like, look, I would rather, I would rather, I would vote for a dead dog, or I would vote for, a complete and utter moron than this person, than anything outside of my party. There's a problem. The biggest, the biggest problem that I have with any of the politics in the United States is there is too much. Oh no, you have to be true to your side, and it's like,
well, and both parties are fucking horribly guilty of that.
yeah,
Where we're not supposed to. So, as an example, Ollamh, I'm going to say you're blue. And that's just my opinion, and I'm very red. So no matter what, I'm not supposed to agree with you on anything
right.
as far as what red's policies are. I'm not supposed to agree with you. I'm not supposed to even, basically, I'm not, for the most part, I'm not even supposed to like you because you think blue. Just as an example. I'm not picking on you.
No.
I'm just using this as an example. It doesn't work that way. Nobody thinks in shades of black and white.
Yeah.
For the most part. So, for example, some of the things that I think that are, at least as far as all this mess goes, some of the things that I am very blue about, gay rights. Just as, again, and I'm just picking shit at random. things like
Yeah.
that. Because
I mean, otherwise, here's the thing with as far as that type of thing goes. I know exactly what you mean, because it's like, who the fuck was the guy? It was several years ago. Ian, or not Ian, but Milo Yiannopoulos.
Oh,
Milo.
yeah.
The
Yiannopoulos.
guy who went to a state where he could marry his husband, but he was full on board with gays should not be able to get married. It's like, you just did it. Why the hell?
It's funny.
Why would you?
Yeah.
Why would you fight against that?
You know what's funny? So I'm going to say, in all honesty, Milo is a bad example of anything on either side, because Milo is an agitator.
Yeah.
I find Milo at 99% of the time, at least when I watch, and he's kind of faded out of relevance. But when I would watch like any of his stuff, I found it very humorous for the most part. But that's because Milo is more of a troll than anything.
He kind of
least-
is. Yeah.
That's my opinion, and I lean towards, for the most part, the red side, where Milo leans very, very heavily towards. But yeah, he's a troll. I don't hate the guy. I want him to be happy. I want everyone to be fucking happy. In all honesty, I want everyone to be happy, and I want everyone to leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah. I would
I
agree
don't-
with that. Yeah.
So the things I don't like cancel culture. If I say X statement about X protected group, if you don't like it, fucking don't listen to me.
Well, that's kind of what happens.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
the problem
that's...
is then everybody jumps on the bandwagon, grass, and we have to cancel this person.
Now,
No.
I kind of...
You don't need
okay,
to cancel.
I understand what you're saying, Sin, but there is... I think there's a slight difference. Because the question is do you have a reason for what you were saying, or is it just, or are you trying to garner attention? Because there are a lot of people,
Okay, so let's
again,
look
both
at,
sides that absolutely try and just, they absolutely will say ridiculous shit to try and garner attention.
Okay, so I will use James Gunn, maybe his name was.
The director?
Yeah.
Yes. So back about 10 years ago, he said some pretty edgy pedo kind of joke bullshit.
I still haven't read what his statement was, but go on.
Well, I don't know what it was exactly. I'm going by just what I've heard in general.
Yeah.
I don't know what he said, because I don't fucking care. If he made an off-color joke, he made an off-color joke. Think of the comedians we had, like Red Fox, Eddie Murphy, as an example. Like, those are two of the big ones, two of the best, actually. George Carlin, even though Carlin was, didn't lean either way. I think Carlin was kind of an anarchist, but either way, it doesn't matter. But I'm just saying, as far as when somebody says something, that's one thing. If they do something, that's different.
Okay.
Words are just words.
Okay, so yeah, the James Gunn thing was back in 2009 and 2010. Those were when the tweets were the tweets that were brought up were for. Yeah, that was, I mean, and yeah, that was one of those situations where
it was edgy shit.
It was edgy shit, and it was also edgy shit that was in line with who he was working for at the time.
So he was more than likely, in all honesty, probably trying to score brownie points with his employer.
Yeah, and his employers were Trauma Entertainment.
Oh, so
That's
okay.
a big. That's I mean, that's yeah.
Toxic Crusader, anyone?
Yeah, that's
Anybody
one
know
of
who
those.
fucking-
Exactly, that's one of those things where it's like,
You
oh
have
my god,
to make that joke to keep your job.
yeah, that's one of those. Oh my god. Oh.
Okay, so full well in regards to what I was saying, then it makes even more sense.
Yeah.
I don't think that the man should not be allowed to direct. I don't think the man should not be allowed to apply his livelihood to a trade. Whether he said something, if I said, I hate X group, 10 years ago, and somebody hears it, or somebody, this is the thing about fucking social media. I don't generally, I make sure not to post anything that says anything that is questionable as far as social media goes.
Now, I will say this. I will say this. As far as, okay, this person was trying to be edgy, 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago. For me, there's always one big question. And that is, have they tried to learn and grow?
That is valid.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm also looking at the statements.
I have seen some people that I've seen some people that absolutely they do try and grow, and I've seen some people that they don't try and grow. They just keep doing the same thing. And
Ras, since you're looking at the statements, in my defense, I just chose him as an example.
I am perfectly fine with him as an example because I don't see how they're edgy. I wouldn't call them. Okay. I'm going to read one off and you tell me what you think.
Okay, sure.
Watching Trapped in the Closet, R. Kelly's second best video after the one where he urinates on a child.
Yeah,
I think that's poor humor is more what I take it as, but
it's poor humor, but he's not going after a group. He's going after R. Kelly.
It's so I take it as A, poor humor, and B, as an 80s kid, I just think, okay, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, we're nerd to it.
Yeah, I could see the argument, though. I could definitely see the argument that it's problematic. It's problematic.
He had deleted the tweets also. That's something we should take into account.
Yeah.
I.e., he didn't really approve of his own statements anymore.
But it's
if it was tied with his employer, in other words, Trauma. And he was trying to be edgy because of Trauma's sake. I can't, because I don't know that in his heart of hearts, I don't know if that's how he actually feels.
Yeah,
I say dumbass shit all the time, especially on the podcast because I've been drinking 99% of the time.
But it really, I agree, it does feel, it really does feel to me, though, that it's like, it's kind of one of those trying to be edgy for edgy's sake.
That's where I finally land on two of his tweets that I'm looking at and I'm like, yeah, you better delete these things, because damn.
He
managed to make me go damn. And I say some freaking fucking ass stupid shit.
So, the thing is, though,
I would not have fired him for these either, especially if they were deleted. I'm just saying, damn.
I wouldn't have fired him, period, because for one, and I don't know what particular comment you're referring to when you say damn. That doesn't matter. But what I'm saying is, as far as all this goes, is that was a different time.
Yes.
And for another, it's just words.
Yes. Oh my God, though, this one got me.
Ollamh, punch in the face, punch in the face, punch in the face, punch in the face. Are you injured?
No.
Did you get hurt?
No. But I mean, so okay. Here's kind of my thing.
Okay.
A lot of the people that claim that will scream cancel culture, there are a lot of instances where cancel culture hasn't been a thing. Okay, look at Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan has said a shit ton of stuff. He never apologized. He never apologized.
Joe Rogan because of that
but
reason.
Now, here's the thing. When he tells somebody of African American descent that you should be my slave and never apologizes for it, that's a fucking problem. But you can't scream cancel culture because the man is actually more profitable now than he was before that came out.
I think the parallel we've got here is the Satanic Panic. Early 80s cancel culture, and it did the exact same thing. It drove up the ratings of the thing it was trying to kill.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that it's like, oh yeah, there's like, yeah, it's
Fire Club, anybody?
Yeah. Hell, yeah, like Joe Rogan, Jake Paul, the fucking Paul brothers, both of them.
Oh, fuck Jake Paul.
But yeah,
I don't even know who that one is.
But yeah, it's like there's a lot of
retarded brothers.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think it was Logan Paul that did the vlog
Suicide.
from
Suicide
the Japan Suicide Force, yeah, and like showed a dead body on his thing, and like did his whole apology parade and stuff like that, and there were he had diehard fans that were just like, oh no, we love you no matter what, and it's like. And there were a lot of people that were brought attention. That brought him to their attention. They were like, "Oh, hey, maybe I should check him out." Same thing with Joe Rogan. It was, oh, Joe Rogan said a bunch of stuff. Well, is this still the same person? Maybe I should check him out. And they wound up liking what he was saying. And Joe Rogan, I will say on Joe Rogan's defense. He does try to balance things, kind of.
He talks to everybody. He doesn't care. So, as far as all of the Joe Rogan stuff that I've watched, and I watch him pretty frequently on YouTube, whether you're right or left, as far as United States politics go, he will talk to you, and he will be polite. He won't be a dick. He won't attack you, or anything like that. He'll listen to what you have to say. He'll interject, but he won't.
Yeah.
Treat you like shit.
Yeah.
He won't come and say, "Oh, well, you're clearly this," and blah blah blah.
Yeah, he is not as overt as that. He is a bit more subtle, I will say. I've looking through just some of his stuff. The people that he questions when he asks a question, he is more interested in, oh well, how do you defend a more extreme left leaning ideal than right? He doesn't ask as many, on the point, just like, hey, how do you defend your thing for the right than the left? But I mean, again, I do not think you can do any kind of news or any kind of thing like this without some sort of bias. How you word things, what questions you ask, and how you word things is going to bias is going to show your bias, and it doesn't matter what you do.
But the thing is, Rogan is so as much as he seems like he's a dumb jock, Joe Rogan is incredibly smart. And why I say that is because when Joe Rogan gets people on his show, he just talks to them rather than attacking them or making them be defensive or whatever. He doesn't go out of his way to be a dick. He just asks him, hey, tell me about this. Hey, tell me about that. So something completely unpolitically related, when he was talking to the actress that was from The King of Queens. Can't think of her name. I want to say it's like Patricia something, but I'm sure that's wrong. She was Kevin's. Maybe it's not Kevin. Fuck, I can't think of his name. She played the main character's wife, and she was in Scientology. And so he just talked to her. It wasn't like news where it's like, brr, 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 brr. Tell me why. Brr, 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 brr. Why did you do this? He just like, hey, so tell me about this. And that's why even like with my personal political differences with Joe Rogan, I will watch Joe Rogan and I will actually pay attention. I will give him credence because of the way he treats his guests. He doesn't attack them. He doesn't shit on them. He's just like, so tell me about this. And he's super open and he's super cool about it. Even if he thinks that, the person that he's interviewing is a fucking idiot, he doesn't treat them badly.
I've seen his interview with Skeletor.
I agree to a certain extent.
Oh, that's fine. But we don't have to agree, 100%.
I mean, what the things that I'm talking about are more like more the idea of when you say, okay, well, tell me about this. And it's something that he when he doesn't agree with it, he tends to be more, but why? What is your proof behind this? Whereas when it's something that he does agree with, he doesn't question it. That's kind of where his bias comes out, and it's and he's really hit and miss with his biases. I will say this: he is just like. I mean, it's his. He really just seems to be all over the place more than anything else.
Well, I don't have a problem with that because I just watch him because I enjoy his content.
Yeah,
like a lot of times he'll talk to people like CIA people and shit. And it's like, oh, I don't know who that dude even is. I'm not going to watch that because that's going to be boring to me. Whereas if I actually bothered to spend the time to watch it, they might talk about all kinds of shit that was actually super interesting to me. But I just watch him talk to the people like Ben Shapiro as an example. And I don't care about anybody's opinion on Ben Shapiro. So don't bother coming at me about it because I don't fucking care. Or, just anybody, whoever he talks to, I watch it because it's going to be interesting to me. So I don't watch everything he does, but I watch the ones that matter to me.
Yeah, the ones that you find interesting, that's what. See, and exactly. that's very different. That is very, very different from a lot of people that go on and on about Joe Rogan. Because there's a lot of people that are like, oh no, everything that they absorb and they focus on everything and they Joe Rogan can't be wrong type of thing, or everything Joe Rogan does is key, and that's just wrong. That's stupid.
I mean, to me, it's not wrong or right. It's just the fact that I like how he treats his guests.
Yeah.
Again, he's amiable. When when he had Jordan Peterson on, he's super amiable. When he had Trisha, I think was the chick from Trisha, whatever, I can't remember her name. Again, from King of Queens, they weren't even talking about anything politics-wise. They were talking about fucking Scientology. So I watched that because I found that interesting.
Yeah,
Just to watch her and him interact.
Well, again, it kind of goes back to what we were talking about before, as far as, I mean, there's a point where if you look at anybody and just being like, nope, this person can never be wrong. I agree 100%. I am fully behind anything and everything they say. Don't care. They're always 100% right. They're always the greatest there is. You're not
a person.
Exactly. It's
quote in living color.
Yeah, it's the exact same type thing. It's like, I mean, I watch Philip DeFranco on YouTube for news.
I watch some of his stuff. Yeah. I like Philip. I don't hate him. He's not saying that you maybe go, well, he's a douchebag. I'm not watching him.
Yeah, I mean, but at the same time, it's like, there's a lot of things that it's like, I'm like, he'll say something or he'll go on a topic and it's like, did you really think about that, Phil? It's like, yeah, exactly. It's like you have if you watch or you consume anything without question, without stopping to think critically about it, there's going to be a problem.
Yeah, and that's either side. I mean, and we
absolutely
and here we're actually, Ollamh, you and I actually are a perfect example of two different. In all honesty, we're two different sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
We agree on a huge amount of things. We also disagree on some things. But we can get along. We can talk to one another. I mean, I consider you one of my closer friends, even though you don't wave the same flags that I do exactly, and blah, 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 and all that kind of, nitpicky bullshit that I'm not going to bother going into because it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah. I mean, we
can still be friends.
Yeah, neither one of us feel the need to wave a flag, really. I mean, no. I don't think either one of us do. It's like, it's like we have our own personal beliefs, and we understand that. We have our own personal beliefs. We don't feel that, you have to believe what I believe.
In that way, I think, and I don't know how Ras feels on all of this, but I think that's one of the things that makes pirates kind of like your perfect adventuring group. Because while we all think differently, we all want the same goal in the end. Yeah. We want to rescue the princess or get the treasure or murder the kobolds or whatever, whatever, however you want to look at it, whatever.
I mean, at the end of the day, everybody pretty much has I like to think that everybody has the same goal. We want to have fun and we want to be happy.
If I wasn't happy, I would be playing Ascension right now or playing, SL.
Well, I mean, just in general, that is the goal. That is really the goal of anything. Is, we all want to be happy. We all want to have fun.
Except for gamers, because he's a bitch ass Canadian.
See, now you're just trying to get him in, aren't you?
Yes, I am, because I missed the fucker.
Maybe a little work at some point.
I missed the fucker, honestly.
So, do you want to hear the statement that made me go, "Oh damn"?
All right.
In regards to what?
The thing James Gunn tweeted it.
Okay.
I would not have fired him. I would have said, dude, delete that shit quick.
Oh God.
Yeah. Here's the tweet. Laughter is the best medicine. That's why I laugh at people with AIDS. Yeah, I get it.
God.
But, fuck,
Yeah,
dude.
but
Fucking terrible.
Oh
my God, that's harsh.
Now you see why I said, damn.
oh my God, that is fucking bad. But at the same time,
it's the bad way to make that joke, because there's a good way to make that joke, and the nostalgia critic did it that way. Used the AIDS, the chocolate candy commercials from the 80s.
oh my
Quick
God.
disclaimer: the AIDS chocolate stuff had been named that way since the 50s, and just simply
you're talking about
ignored
a dietary supplement. Yeah,
Right.
It wasn't a candy. It was a dietary supplement.
But it was like
basically-
chocolate bars and stuff.
Yeah.
That was the form it was in. And so
Like X-Lax.
it predated the disease, but they didn't see the idea. They should have changed their name as soon as there was an AIDS epidemic, is what I'm saying. But they didn't.
Oh no.
So when you look back at these commercials, and you're going like, I'm sorry, but why are you trying to give me peanut butter AIDS?
That's the thing. Yes, that's the thing that the one thing that just, oh my God. No, when the whole, when the AIDS epidemic came out, and it's like, okay, there's this disease, should we rebrand? No, let's offer peanut butter.
That's the 80s for you. That's
like-
us Gen Xers giving everybody the bird, going, fuck you.
Oh my God. I actually, that
glorious.
was one of the, that was actually, I brought that up in one of the 5 Count Fridays that I did, was like poorly named stuff. And it was like, yeah, I think that was number 1, was the AIDS
But see, the
dietary
thing is,
stuff. And it's like,
that's not poorly named. It's not, because that was around before the acquired immune deficiency syndrome.
It was a different letter in the middle.
It was poorly named to the point where they just didn't say, oh hey, maybe we should change this. No, they fucking doubled down on that shit. They're like, no, we are fucking just
They failed their perception role and did not adapt, is how I would put it.
Yeah. It's like there's certain points where it's like you kind of gotta feel the room, and it's like, ooh, hey, this is a little different.
This were an RPG, I would have given them fucking double XP for sticking to their guns.
Sometimes there are things you have to award in an RPG. I mean, I once took a bite out of a vampire. Take that as you will, but
I mean, I could actually see giving them double XP for it, but at the same time, they would have like a -10 reputation, or like everybody is looking at them like they're the fucking devil for like the next 5 games.
You're going to earn these bonus XP.
Exactly. It's like, all right, yep, you had the balls to do it, great, but we gotta put
Based on since we're going to talk about RP stuff, one time, so there was a, I don't know if this was GM created or it was part of the module. In Undermountain, there's a lich. So I had this character who joined in with this adventuring party. And so the lich is just basically raping every character as far as liches go. And they're just fucking destroying them. And so the lich comes to me and I'm like, I don't, told him, what was it exactly that I told him? I said, basically that the only reason why I joined them is because I was a pirate. Because my character only had one eye and he had an eye patch. And, but I wanted to go on the flying ships because it was spell jamming. We were trying to do something with spell jamming. And so basically, I fucking shit on the entire party because all I want to do is go on the flying ships. And the Lich did not kill me. He did the rest of the party. Because I was basically, he took it as that I did not realize what was going on. Of course I knew what was going on. But I basically was like, oh, fuck you guys. You guys fucked up. And then there was time. So do you know what a Wu Gen is?
Yes.
Okay, Ras, you know. Ollamh, do you know what a Wu Gen is?
It sounds familiar.
Wu
Do you
Gen
want
is
me to explain or you?
Sure,
You
go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
A Wu Gen is an Eastern variant on the second edition Mage, at least the more recent versions were, and they usually came with a little extra punch, but they had to observe special
Rules.
let's call them, yes, like never cutting hair or never trimming nails or never entering a door that faces north from the outside.
Thank you. Perfect. So the Wu Gen in the party was never allowed to sleep with a woman. Didn't say he couldn't do other things with a woman, couldn't sleep with a woman. So I had a barbarian character who felt sorry for the small yellow man. So I brought him a girl. And long story short, that really fucked him all up. So he was chasing me around, essentially trying to kill me because the fact that I made him break one of his sacred rules. As a barbarian. Yeah, well, my character was a barbarian. He had basically wore a trench coat, or the D&D equivalent of a trench coat, and he had 2 bracers of like armor class 2, and then he dual-wielded battle axes.
Okay.
Yeah, so I thought the small yellow man had trouble with women. I wanted to help him because he was my friend. Of course, my character was ignorant to the rules that, he must follow as being a Wu Gen. And I could not understand why the Wu Gen wanted to kill me after I brought him a woman. Because I thought maybe he was just too shy, or maybe, because I didn't know his special rules. On that note, I need to AFK, so, of course, gentlemen, talk amongst yourselves.
All right.
Okay. The only barbarian I'm playing lately is 6 levels barbarian, 6 levels mystic, and that's my Sith in the Planescape game.
See, I've always been the type that's like, I've always been the conniving one. I have always been the conniving type person, the type characters and stuff.
I've played that, but it depends on the game.
Like, okay, for example, like there was a reoccurring joke in one of our Shadowrun games. We got our little group got to be known as the Tu Madre group.
Your mama group?
Yes. That was kind of like our ongoing insult was your mother.
Yeah, I know. I've used that in a D&D game once. At a point where I really shouldn't have.
But we were we were supposed to, we were supposed to go and get this one kid and basically get this one kid away from his overly controlling mother and her mother and stuff like that. And and we're like, okay, well, we need some sort of a code phrase so that this kid will recognize who we are and that he should, that they should go with us and stuff like this. And one of the, and one of the other players was like, Tu Madre. That's the thing. That's kind of our code word. That's kind of our thing. It's got to be Tu Madre. And our GM is like, okay, that's what it is. And And then when we got to the door, when we, the character's mother, the character's mother is talking to us and stuff, and it's like, oh yeah, who are you? What are you doing here? What do you want with him? What are you going to do with him? And blah, 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 blah. And they're like, everybody else is like, shit, how are we going to, how do we work this in? And I'm just like, oh, come, and I'm just like, all right, okay, no problem. I got this, guys. I'll just step forward. I'm like, okay, well, it's just a really quick excursion. We're just supposed to take him to Madre and, stuff like that. So instead of like to as in your, it's to as in going to. Because the person didn't speak Spanish. And the game master's like, but I'm like, tell me how I'm wrong. Tell me how I'm wrong. Tell me how they are going to take this, other than we are taking them to a place called Madre. And he's like, fuck. I'm like, yeah. It's like, I did just little quirky little details like that. That's like, hey. Nope. It's not what you were thinking, but it works. That's always been my play style, is just like, I will come up with I think it was, I like to attribute it to like playing the Sierra games and the LucasArts games with all the moon logic. So it's like, my brain doesn't make the normal connections. It makes all of these weird, bizarre connections.
See, I just basically damn near broke the fourth wall doing something mildly along those lines. We were fighting a white dragon, and I was taunting him, not in a game mechanics way, not in a, not like the warlock, insult and deliver a penalty of 5th edition way. No, not vicious mockery. I just echoed a challenge, and I thought he's going to back off, intimidate, or he's going to attack. And this white dragon did attack. And the insult I used, your mom is so white, her breath weapon is pumpkin spice.
Oh, damn.
I went there, and then the dragon went all over my ass. I mean, did I survive? Yes. Did we kill the white dragon? Yes. Did my entire adventuring party briefly laugh and then walk to kick my ass because that's how the fight started? Also, yes.
I can imagine. That reminds me. I need to do a video about that for October. I need to, because my God, people are stupid with that. Like fucking stupid. I mean, number one, pumpkin spice is subpar at best. These are obviously, people who absolutely love pumpkin spice stuff, obviously have not had chai. They have very obviously not had chai. Because chai spices are vastly superior.
It's cardamom, nutmeg, cinnamon. I've done that. I've done a Thai iced tea, because you know me in cooking and brewing weird things.
Yeah. Chai is cinnamon, cardamom, ginger, nutmeg, cloves, and allspice.
And some black tea leaves, of course.
Well, black tea chai spice is just those. Chai is tea with chai spices.
I'm going to admit I cheat, sort of.
I put chai spices in my coffee.
See, I just wind up grabbing just the cardamom and some black tea leaves and just cold brewing a gallon of that, and then I will grab some honey, steam some milk, mix it all together, and there I am with a chai latte miel whenever I want it.
But see, the thing is the pumpkin spices are the cinnamon, ginger, allspice, and either nutmeg or cloves.
But the cardamom is just so overpowering in all of it.
Not really. It blends together quite well with the chai.
I guess it can, but I just wound up going the cheap route and just doing the cardamom.
So you tend to do more the Turkish style.
I guess that
'cause
I didn't know that was a thing, but if that is, yep.
Turkish coffee is coffee grounds with cardamom.
I did not know that. I might need to try that actually, because I've had Turkish coffee, but I didn't know how they got it that way.
Yeah, it's the coffee beans with cardamom, and then brew it, and then put that and brew it.
Also, for those of you who are interested, Yoshi P of FF14 is doing an interview with a bunny. I'm sorry, the bunny is interviewing Yoshi P. The rabbit full makeup cosplayer is interviewing Yoshi P. Final Fantasy, what do you even do anymore?
Oh god, is this in regards to like because I know TwitchCon's going on right now.
It's just their channel on YouTube.
Is it Judy Hopps?
It alerted me, and I said, "What the hell's going on?" And then I click, and there's a guy in full rabbit makeup and prosthetics interviewing Yoshi P. No, it's not a translator, I don't think. I also have their sound turned off, so take that as you will. Because I didn't want to interrupt this, but
now I have wondered something as far as like the as far as the idea of pumpkin of actual pumpkin coffee, not like pumpkin spice coffee, but actual pumpkin coffee.
I have not done that. I did grab raw pumpkin, mash it down, and use it to make a pumpkin French toast. Basically, I'm cooking it in with the eggs, the milk, etc., and just, soaking the toast in the resulting mixture, which is a little thicker, so I had to add some extra milk. Take it in.
Kill for a huge fat slice of pumpkin pie right now.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and if you see pumpkin Twinkies in the store,
yes,
rather than buy them, just kick yourself in the balls.
They're
fucking horrible. They're fucking gross. Yeah, they're gross. I bought them thinking, I kind of like pumpkin spice stuff. Kind of. Yeah, they're just... So the Twinkie itself is just Twinkie, and then the cream is pumpkin spice flavored, which is bleh.
Yeah. The
just ram your crotch into the side of your dryer or whatever appendage, whatever household object is low enough that you could really just injure yourself and vomit.
Then here's what they should have done. All right, make a shortcake, but make sure you pump a lot of pumpkin that you've pureed into your mixture for the shortcake. Now fill it with whipped cream. And that is what I would want from something like that.
Yeah, it's not that at all. It's the Twinkie part is just Twinkie, which is great because it's just nice, fluffy, angel food cake is really what Twinkies really are.
Yeah.
And then the cream is the part that's got the pumpkin spice nutmeg shit in it that's fucking horrible.
Yeah, they should have not gone that route. They should have just made actual pumpkin, not the spice blend, mixed it into the Twinkie itself, maybe spike the cream with a bit of cinnamon, but I wouldn't have gone beyond anything like that.
And I also bought the brand was Best Choice. It was pumpkin pie ice cream. And I will tell you, while it wasn't terrible, it was not wonderful. I would rather just have a fucking pumpkin pie. And the funny thing is, when Thanksgiving and all that shit would roll around, and my mom would make pies, my mom would make a butterscotch pudding pie, she'd make a chocolate pudding pie, then she'd make 2 or 3 pumpkin pies. And I guarantee, at least once in my lifespan, that I saw a full pumpkin pie go bad before the others were gone.
Yeah. I mean,
My-
there was one. I remember when I was working up at AT&T, we were having a Thanksgiving thing, and I brought pies. I brought 2 pies. Everybody thought they were pumpkin pies. Nobody ate them. Nobody even went near them. So I'm like,
What
really,
were
guys?
they?
You're not. Oh, fine. I'll have some pie. And they're like, wait, you hate pumpkin pie? I'm like, they're not pumpkin pie. They're sweet potato pie. Everybody's like, oh, well, in that case, it's like, yeah.
Now I did. So one time I did a butternut squash bisque, and I fed it to a few people. Some people loved it, said the consistency was perfect, etc. One person said, "Why does it taste like pumpkin?" I said, "It's a squash."
Yeah.
See, like I love spaghetti squash. Just take one, have the fucker. If I don't remember if squash have seeds in them like cantaloupe.
They do at certain points, just not throughout. Usually,
Okay, but basically have the fucker. Dump about basically a half a pound of butter in it. Microwave it.
yeah, that will actually also soften it up for if you want to do other things with it later.
Sure. But yeah, I mean, I absolutely love squash. I mean, in all honesty, I am primarily a carnivore, and I don't know where I got this, but if there's no meat on the plate, it's not a meal. You could serve me a 7-course vegetable dinner, and it'd be all vegetables that I actually like. That's still not a meal because there's nothing dead on my plate.
And me, I'm a pescatarian, but I have
Well-
had to adjust to a vegetarian thing. So the question is, how did you prep the veggie? What is the veggie? Because some of them are a main course if you know what you're doing. And some of them I would be with you on that, saying there was no main course for this meal. It was a whole bunch of accompaniments and nothing else.
I will be right back. I gotta go to the bathroom.
Okay. Okay. Going
So,
down the
yeah.
list, I would consider an acceptable main course for that. Let's go with the obvious ones: tofu and tempeh. The tempeh is going to be odd to pull off. The tofu,
Nope.
you still have to be careful.
Yeah, I'm not eating either one of those, man.
Next step,
so-
cheese based.
So if someone were to say, here is a huge bowl of mashed potatoes with, let's just say, no meat whatsoever. So just butter and cheese, maybe some chives and black pepper. I could do that. No problem. Because I love mashed potatoes. But yeah.
But it's not a main course.
No, I could have mashed potatoes on their own.
Okay.
Is what I'm saying. If they were, and again, no meat, so not even bacon bits. I could have mashed potatoes with just enough cheese and salt and pepper. I'd be fine.
Quick note: most imitation bacon bits are actually soy-based and have no real meat. So as
Well-
long as you read the ingredients, veggies out there, you can safely put them on your stuff.
I don't like faking bits because the stuff that they flavor it with, at least as far as I've experienced, with faking bits. Problem is, I will. It might be just be me. But if I belch later, for eating your faking bits and whatever, and it tastes, and my belches taste like bacon, like the smoky fake bacon, yeah, I'd rather just not have them, period.
Now that there's different types. If you're talking it's meant to feel like it's been grilled and served up just like normal bacon, yeah, that's probably going to do it to you. The imitation bacon that normally just comes out of a bacon bits shaker is probably not going to do that to you. And I would just call it says bacon bits, I would call it salty soy. And I put it on all sorts of things. But sometimes, a brand will discontinue, and so you
as a-
do the next one.
As a pescatarian, whatever the
Yes.
fuck. Okay. and I don't mean any disrespect. I just wasn't
Go
sure
on.
what. Is that like primarily fish?
Yes, mostly fish. I do eat some squid. I'm one of the few people I know who can actually cook a squid without it coming off rubbery. And there is a
Yeah.
trick to that I wish more
I'll
people
still
knew.
pass. I'll still pass, but more power to you, man. No, I love
But it's
tuna.
also- yeah,
I love salmon. Oh, salmon patties. My mom used to make salmon patties a lot of times. My dad loved
Oh, yeah.
salmon patties. My mom hated making them because then she'd smell like fish.
Now,
She couldn't get
have you had a ground shrimp patty?
No, but I just love fried shrimp, period. So I can't imagine that I would hate a ground shrimp patty.
Now, picture this: lemongrass filler. Now, what sauce, what bun, and what sauce would you use? Let's assume cheese is out of the picture for this one.
So if it was just basically a ground shrimp patty,
With a lemongrass filler, yes.
okay, but still, so it's a ground shrimp patty.
Mhm.
In all honesty, if it was a big enough patty, I wouldn't want a bun. I'd just eat it like it was a steak or a big ass burger. A lot of times, like when I was trying to lose weight, now that I'm 50, I don't give a fuck because I'm going to be dead anyhow in a few years, whatever. I would, I love just like turkey, as an example, I just love just like a huge turkey burger. So
Yeah, I used to eat those.
So if it was just a huge ad of basically a shrimp burger, for lack of a better term, and a little bit of tartar sauce, and I'm real particular on my tartar sauce. I don't want it to have onions in it because I fucking hate onions unless it's an onion ring. But a little bit of, as long as the tartar sauce is, or even cocktail sauce, just smear it over the top. Kind of like you would, let's say the shrimp patty was almost like a pancake.
Like, we talking
And-
thin or...
Oh, I'm talking about size-wise.
Okay,
It's, as far as what we're talking, I'm thinking main course,
yes.
meal. And then some cocktail sauce.
I tried
I
that
would-
with it once, but go on.
I would eat that and be happy. Again, because as long as it's meaty enough, again, I love shrimp. When I was a kid, and even to this day, I still will a lot of times eat the tails.
Oh yeah, I do that. I deep fry them. You take the tail, you separate, you throw on some spices, you throw on some flour, you deep fry that, you have shrimp crackers done.
I've never
love
heard
shrimp.
of that.
I
My
love shrimp.
ex-fiance was from Indonesia. She taught me that one. And for a sauce myself, I have to admit, if there was no bun for the shrimp burger, I would probably deep fry the thing, because of course I would. But the other thing is, for a sauce, I used one of the following three usually. Sauce number 1, sweet red chili. Simple
Okay.
enough. Sweet Baby Ray's has a version of that, so everyone knows this one. Choice number 2, red pepper jelly. Now this one's getting more common. You'll find it in a lot more grocery stores than you used to.
Well, I was thinking something like a mango chutney.
I could see that, so let's add that to the list. And there's another one I tried on, which is much like Brunchwager. This is not meant to flavor something else. This is meant to be the whole content of a sandwich. I used, throwing it on both shrimp burger and salmon burger, Branston pickle.
Ever had it or heard of it? I love Braunschweiger though, which is funny because like when I was a kid, my dad would eat head cheese. I was like, because I know what that's made of. Bleh, that's just gross.
I mean,
And
having
look-
eaten shrimp brains before, I don't see what. When I still ate animals from the land, I was of the opinion of eat the whole goddamn animal and don't let anything go to waste.
Oh, so, but yeah, my dad would eat sows, which is head cheese.
Right.
Yeah, that's just, no, thank you. No, thank you.
I admit,
Any-
I kind of miss the stuff.
Well, more power to you, man. More power to you.
Well, less
but
power. I can't have it anymore.
Well, but I'm just saying, if you liked it, great for you. My dad would eat souse. And like, I didn't realize what it was. When my mom would buy it at the store, though, I was like, I'm not fucking eating that shit because it looks gross.
Oh,
it was.
I ate stuff that made my dad go, "What the hell is wrong with you?"
But I did grow up eating brown Schweiger. And I will cut brown Schweiger because it normally comes in like a sausage log. I will cut it like inches, like an inch thick, 2 or 3 patties, basically an inch thick. I'll eat that, and which is really funny because brown Schweiger is what, liver?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah,
Yep.
liver pate, basically.
Yeah. But I won't eat liver. Well, I have eaten liver. I had a friend of mine. One time, she's like, I really miss having a husband and fixing liver and onions. I say, well, you cut out the onions, and because I really liked her, and she was a really good friend, super sweet girl. Nothing more than that. So before you think anything else.
I mean, I miss black pudding. I miss haggis. I miss bone marrow on my bread.
So I was in Chicago and I had blood sausage.
Okay.
And-
Was it a black pudding or some other variety?
I don't honestly remember. I mean, it looked like just a really super dark red sausage.
You probably had black pudding, but go on.
Okay. But it wasn't like the most wonderful thing to me. And then when I found out what it was a little less thrilled about it. And it wasn't bad. It wasn't.
Like somewhere between bread and meat.
I mean, it was very meaty, but it was more. I was in Chicago. I was with my fiance, and she had the wild idea, we should go out one night. And with her sister and at the time, her husband. And we ended up going to this, I don't fucking know if it was a club or whatever. I don't know. I know it was incredibly fucking loud. It was playing music that I'd rather, if the doorman could have said, I'll kick you in the balls and we'll play metal the rest of the night, I would have said, awesome. Kick me in the balls right now. Because the fucking music was terrible.
Which place were you at? Do you remember?
No, I have no idea, man.
Sin has been plenty drunk since then.
Well, there's been many drunks and many years since then. And it was my ex-fiance, and it was a trip to Chicago, which I got drug in on that I didn't want to go. So, yeah. Because the idea of sitting in the car with my fiance and her parents for a very long amount of time was just thrilling to me. It was just fucking wonderful. Because her parents didn't like me. Blah, 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 blah. All, anything. So, I am, at this particular time in my life, while I am still red, I am a very fiery red at the time. And we'll just leave it that way. We'll leave it at that. And they're a very Iowa blue.
Oh, God.
That's where she was from. So, yeah. So, I believe you said, oh my God. Do you know what I'm talking about? So, yes. So, I'm a very fiery red, and I don't give a fuck because I am red, and I am this, and yada, 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 and so on and so forth. And her parents were very Iowa blue, very much covered in covered gold and sequin crosses. I'll just leave it at that.
Oh boy. Yeah, that's not a good combo.
Yeah, it wasn't. So I'm stuck in the car, and I got along with her folks, but it just wasn't my idea of wonderful. I didn't want to go. She's like, oh, I'm gonna go visit my sister in Chicago. I'm like, cool, babe. I miss you. I love you. Oh no, you're going. What? Oh, I don't want to go.
I am?
Why can't I just stay home? You know, it's not like, I mean, I loved this girl. I wasn't going to go out and whore around. I'm not that type anyhow. Even if I just, you know, thought well of her, I'm still not going to go whore around because I'm very red and I just don't do those things. And plus, I've been cheated on enough myself. Know how shitty it makes you feel. You know, when that happens to you. So I'm just, you know, I had to go on this fucking trip to the land of chaos and bullshit with her parents. I can remember, and this is one of the things that irks me, because I wasn't smart enough to buy smokes and bring, like, you know, 3 or 4 packs with me, even though we were only going to be gone like a weekend, whatever. And so I had to walk to a convenience store. And she didn't live in we were staying with her sister, and her sister didn't live in a bad neighborhood. It was still, I'm normal Midwest guy wandering around even an affluent neighborhood in Chicago, thinking somebody's going to murder me anytime now. I'm going to die before I get these. And then when I got there, all they had was like actual cigars, which is not what I smoked. So that's all fucked up. So basically, the entire trip was a giant clusterfuck of unhappiness for this guy. And then when we get back after the 6-hour or whatever the fucking ride in the car, I get to listen to her tell me about how much her parents bitched about bullshit, like stupid shit about the trip back and there. And I just wanted to fucking die. I actually feel shitty now for even bothering to dredge up those memories. That's how fucking bad it was.
Yeah.
Last time. Go on.
I was gonna say I've been kind of stuck in that situation. There have been a few times where, you know, extended family, and it's like, you know, like my dad would go. My dad's like, okay, well, you know, we'll you know, where are you flying into? Oh, we're flying into Indianapolis, and they're like, okay, well, I'll come pick you up and stuff. And of course, he didn't want to go by himself, so I'm like, all right, I'll go with you. Fine, all right. Going to pick them up wasn't bad. It was the return trip. It's like 3 hours of just, oh dear gods, please shut up, please shut up, please shut up. Just, can we just listen to the radio or something? Just like noise.
Oh yeah, except for like,
it's like you can't say anything. You can't say anything because it's like you don't, you know, you can't just be like.
You know, there are parts of me that kind of wish that it would have been murdered on my way back from getting the smokes after I got at least one of them, you know, smoked out of the pack, rather than experience the rest of that trip. In all honesty, I mean, as long as it was a quick, clean death, I wouldn't care.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, it's there's situations where it's like, you know, it's like, I can't say anything to you, but oh my God, I'd like to. It's like, just, can we just drop it? Just, yeah. Oh yeah,
And to be perfectly honest, my ex-wife was just as bad, but not as bad. And what I mean by that is, so like a lot of times we'd have to go, like, let's say, so I lived in a little town in Missouri, Monette, which is about 40 miles from Springfield, which is probably about what I am now, in all honesty. And she would want to go visit her aunt. And I didn't dislike her aunt. Her aunt was she was an awesome lady. She was also super Christian. And even the shade of red that I am, in all honesty, Bible thumpers drive me nuts, because you're banging on a drum about shit that, if you believe everything that you're harping about, you're not supposed to care. You're just supposed to be good to the person.
Yeah.
Love the sinner, not the sin. And I'm not saying that this person was particularly like hateful or anything like that. She was a sweet lady. I actually really like her, and I actually thought she was kind of pretty. So that was the one bonus thing for me. But most of the time when we would go visit my wife's aunt, I would stay in the car, because I'm sitting in the car. At least I can, whatever toy I happen to buy, placate myself during that time. So like one of the times I bought the Alien set, and this was a 12-inch figure set with Alien and a figure that was supposed to be Hicks, the Aliens movies.
Yeah.
It didn't look anything like Hicks, but it had some colonial marine armor and all that kind of stuff, and I sat in the car for a good 2 hours and was just happy with that. Not that I didn't like my wife's aunt. I did. I thought she was a very nice lady, but it wasn't my family, so I didn't fucking care. And in all honesty, if it would have been my family, I wouldn't have drugged my wife there to deal with that in the first fucking place, because I love my brother, love my sister, I love my mom and my dad. Only one of those 4 people I just mentioned are still alive at this point. I still wouldn't fucking, like, even if my sister right now lived 10 miles away and I was still in a relationship with my ex-wife, would not fucking drag my ex-wife to go visit my sister. Just fucking wouldn't do that out of courtesy. If I wanted to go talk to her, or I needed to talk to her, I'd talk to her on the phone, or I'd fucking go visit her by myself.
Yeah.
I guess maybe I'm just weird that way. Maybe that's not normal.
Well, I mean, there's certain interactions that it's like, some people get along, some people don't. There's just, and there's a certain level of being aware of that tends to be lacking.
In my case, I don't dislike my sister. Like, she's the only blood family I have left besides my daughter. So when she calls me on the phone, I'm more than happy to talk to her.
And side note, I may have to bail in a second because 1, tired, and 2, early work. So
okay, that's cool, Russ.
Very understandable. Actually, we're probably going to be wrapping up here before too terribly long. So
all right, well, I will catch you 2 both next week then.
Take care, man.
You too.
Good night.
Night.
Yeah, that's what you call being an American. They just stuck to it and just stayed with us. Unlike them fucking Canadians. I miss that little bitch. No, I, in all honesty, I really do like gamers.
I know you do. I'm sure gamers knows you do.
I hope so.
Oh, but yeah, no, I believe me, I understand. There's been a few instances with my family where it's like, I like hanging out with my family. I don't necessarily get along with a lot of my extended family in particular. terribly well, but it's like I still enjoy being around them occasionally. It's like, but it's like I know there's I've had significant others that and like my godchild. It's like there's like, oh no, I know that it would be like oil and water. It's like they would be like, yeah. It's like no, just let's not do that.
In my ex-fiance's defense, you know, I mean, I wanted to marry her. I wanted to be part of her life, all that kind of bullshit. So her parents are part of her life. So I don't begrudge her that. I'm not mad at her about that or any bullshit like that. I don't have any ill feelings towards her. You know, it's been a few years. I'm mad. In all honesty, she ended up marrying a woman, which again, I don't fucking care. Gay people, be happy. Just whatever, you know, if fucking furniture makes you happy, as long as you don't bother me about it, I don't fucking care what you do. Whatever. Yeah. As long as you're happy, then whatever.
Yeah.
I became a minister so I could perform because I wanted to do something for her. So I became a minister so I could perform the wedding ceremony because I thought, okay, this has been a few years, you know, in the past, and I thought maybe she'd have a problem finding a minister who would perform the ceremony.
Yeah.
So I did that. And that's the thing. I love telling people I'm a minister. It is so funny because, you know, when you know me, so that's different. But when somebody who doesn't know me and hears me, you know, converse, if they catch me on a wrong day and I tell them I'm a minister, it's really funny. Because I don't say very godly things. That's not my job.
You're not the awkward kind of minister, thankfully. The awkward kind of minister, I mean, is like my next door neighbor who is that is his profession. He is a minister. It's like he owns a boat, he owns 3 cars, he owns a house, and it's like
it's good business, man.
It's like, wow,
it's good business.
Yeah, it's like all of that just to tell people you are sinning. Here is how you should be living your life. It's like you don't even really know most of these people, but you're telling them how to live. Wow, that is.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you got me all fucked up when it comes to that kind of shit because, again, as I discussed earlier, we think different colors. But some of the shit that's like my color, I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
I mean, there is so much shit that I don't fucking care about. As far as, I'm trying to think of the way to phrase this, and not like be negative, because that's not my intent. I don't fucking care who you marry or who you put your penis in, as long as you're not hurting someone.
Yeah.
Or it's not a minor who can't make their own decisions.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't fucking care. I just can't express that enough. And I'm not just talking about, that's not the only thing. There's so many things. Like if you want to smoke a doobie, fucking smoke a doobie. I'm all for legalizing weed. I don't fucking care. You know what's funny? Ollamh, in regards to that,
what's that?
Well, I'm very, very, very pro, like, legalize it, tax the fuck out of it. My daughter is still against it. Which is really funny because, you know, she's gay, as I've stated multiple times. But yeah, she doesn't, it should be illegal. It shouldn't even be for medical use. I'm like, because I told her, I said, you know, the state I live in has medicinal. If I knew how to, you know, what I needed to tell a doctor to get medicinal, I'd probably be stoned right now, in all honesty. Because being stoned, and being drunk, I don't really see them as much different. I don't.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're stoned, I don't want you driving. If you've had 3 beers, 2 beers, whatever.
Anything.
I don't want you driving.
Yeah, anything that disrupts your mental faculties. Yeah. And and there's I know plenty of people that it's like, oh no, when they get stoned, their reaction time is like fucking atrocious. It's like, no, you have no business operating any kind of vehicle whatsoever. It's like,
so
that's just common sense.
With all that, oh, I've never, and believe me, I like to drink. I do. I'm kind of drunk right now. Not super drunk, just a little bit drunk. Because I've slowly built up a tolerance to my... So it went from 3 margaritas, 4 margaritas. Now 4 margaritas just has me happy and amiable. If you've noticed, I generally haven't slurred or well, I'm now up to 4 margaritas, and I'm probably going to need to move to 5 or 6 before I start getting goofy again. Which is a bitch part. But with that said, don't drink and drive. I won't say I've never drank and drive. Done it like twice in my entire lifetime. And so that's once every 25 years. I don't necessarily consider that bad, especially since no one was hurt. Now, if it was once and someone was hurt, then yes.
I mean, we've
nobody got hurt.
I mean, that's one of the things that's always gets me with people when they're like, oh, this person's bad because of this. It's like, look, we've all fucked up. We've all done stupid shit.
Oh yeah.
We've all been the young stupid
dumbass.
Assholes. Yeah, it's like,
been the dumbass.
But I like to think that we, the biggest thing is try, is again, it's are you improving? Are you trying to be better?
Did you
than
learn
you were?
from your dumbass mistake?
Exactly.
So, as a prime example of that, I used to try to tell jokes while I was having sex.
Oh God. Why?
I don't know, because I was having fun. I thought maybe they should too as well. I didn't know. So my first real girlfriend, every time we would sleep together, I would ask her, what do you think of the weather? As I was doing my business. And it got to the point where she said, next time you do that, I'm going to shove you off and kick you in the balls, kind of deal. I don't know why. I just because it was rather than making grunty noise, I thought maybe we should make some conversation. I don't know. I mean, I was a dumbass kid, and it was funny to me, which was kind of the sad thing, because I was more concerned with making her go ha ha than oh.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I was gonna say, I think we've reached the end of our time. We've been going for about 3 hours and 15 minutes at this point. It doesn't feel like it. It never feels like it.
Yes.
But yeah, I am starting to get sleepy myself. So I think this is where we're gonna end for tonight.
You should join me on Ascension.
I will think about it. I will think about it. I might, because I mean there are certain there's certain appeals to that.
Ascension classless, because you can, and so I will tell you right now, because I've already answered these questions. If you make a Horde character, it can still help you as an Alliance character. I can talk to you directly as an Alliance character. We can still party together. I can run you through instances, those kinds of things.
I've always been partial to dwarves. I don't know why.
That's fine. Be whatever. I don't like. I always choose either currently I have one human, I have one night elf, one forsaken, one blood elf. And I made a blood elf just because eye candy. I made the night elf eye candy, the human also kind of eye candy, and the forsaken was my representation WoW, or in this type of WoW, of me.
Okay.
So that's the character I was talking about earlier, who is the undead paladin.
Okay.
And so what's funny is I will set up like I set up group emotes or guild emotes actually. So like, and so when somebody says, oh, they got some kind of, like achievement or whatever, my response in an emote is something along the lines of, because I've been drinking and I can't remember exactly what it is congratulate you on your most fortuitous occasion. It is truly amazing, and I'm glad to have seen that you've done it. That kind of thing.
Okay.
Other than saying, fuck yeah! Because my emote is set up as the character. And since he's a former knight, I try to, when in character, and it's not an RP server and it's not an RP guild or anything like that. Mostly when I use that emote, the higher ups in the guild laugh about it. I think like there's a chick in the guild who's one of the big wigs. She thinks it's cute every time I use it. Or the others, like when somebody logs in, instead of saying, hey, whatever, it's like, hail and well met. Because I know how to set up simple emotes like that, that'll go to simple, like go to group chat or party chat or whatever. So that's what I do.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to. I'll take a look at that, and I might be into that. That sounds pretty cool.
It is really cool. I mean, as far as I really like it, it's WoW, but it's a little bit different. I mean, if you know the story, you know the story. So, I mean, it doesn't change anything like that. Now, they're working on Conquest of Azeroth, which is their next update, from what I'm understanding. As far as they're creating their own character classes. So, not like Paladin, blah, 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 blah. They have like Necromancer, Witch Hunter, stuff that was like, as you were playing, if you knew vanilla, there were characters who kind of had those roles. They were never actual character classes you could take.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
There's like 21 new classes.
Jeez. Huh.
Yeah. Been really working. I mean, it's as far as I've played on a lot of private servers, and I've played, so a lot of them are like, just do whatever. It's just a role play server. Most of the instances don't work, whatever. All the instances work as intended. Can't just roll in. And so one of the things I miss, in all honesty, is I miss going in with a super over leveled character, just wiping an instance out by myself. You really can't do that. So the difference between 70 and 60 is not enough instance-wise that you can roll in and just wipe out the instance by yourself. I've got pretty damn good gear because the other night when we ran Tempest, Temple Keep, whatever the fuck, it's one of the end game ones in Burning Crusade. You fight Kill Thalos. One of my guildies is like, oh, you need this. And they just start dumping gear on me. I'm like, whoa. And like, they're telling me all this stuff. So I've got a character, so like, I don't know what the max gear score is, but right now I have a horde character. My gear score is like 110. or actually maybe even be higher than that, which is, I think, fairly high for Burning Crusade. The weird thing is almost everything is set up so server stuff is set up for like PvP. You don't have to PvP. Like all my good gear is PvP gear. As long as I don't do a certain type of instance, it doesn't matter. Now there's certain types of instances like Mythic or Mythic Plus or Mythic Plus Plus, those kinds of things, where my PvP gear is a hindrance. Currently, we are not running anything like that, so it doesn't fucking matter.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you need any questions answered, let me know. I'll be more than happy to answer anything I can.
All right.
And if
like
you
I said,
decide,
I just needed. Yeah, I'll take a look at it and see.
If you decide to join, the server you want to join is Area 52. My character is, and I'm going to say it in chat rather than saying it out loud because they are being broadcasted. So
yeah. All right. Well,
that's me.
Yeah. As
That's
far as
me.
Yeah. Okay.
That way I don't have somebody later a week going, yeah, I heard you on the podcast. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I can understand that. All right.
My
Well,
help doesn't extend to them because you've been a friend for like 15 years.
yeah. Oof. Long time. All right.
Yes.
Well, you want to say goodnight to everybody?
Well, I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend, and I hope that nobody gets kicked in the balls or gets a venereal disease, except for maybe Gamers, because his bitch ass didn't show up. I really don't want him to get a venereal disease, maybe a kick in the balls, maybe teeth. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Right.
Whatever. He'll get over it. Teeth. Gamers, teeth.
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and do my outro, and then I'm going to go ahead to bed.
I am not.
Thank you.